Hey guys, and welcome back to the Nerditude movie podcast.
Kinda.
We're a professional podcast.
Hey, we're live.
Always.
That was a flashback.
Always professional.
So we are in the month of November. So we're back to doing double features for you guys. But
is this No Shave November for us?
Well, I can't really grow anything.
That's what I was going to ask you. That's what I was asking. Sorry.
As you can tell by this and this. Oh, it's
this way.
Okay. This is No Shave Decade. Okay.
I'd say if you're watching the show on YouTube, Matt and Alex haven't shaved in 2 hours, and they now have beards.
Yes. You should see my legs. They're very bad.
Matt's is like 15 minutes. He grows that shit back in like 15 minutes.
You know, that guy told me it was magic beard oil, but I didn't believe him. He told me not to drink it all in one drink. He had some beans. I should have taken those, too.
But we just finished up the spooky season October movie marathon where we did triple features. So hopefully you guys check that out. And if you guys enjoyed that, and thank you for watching or listening to the live show we did.
Yes, check out the spooky month's worth of episodes.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
The live episode was great. I had, I think, all the movies. I mean, I think Lewis, not so much. I think Alex is tired of horror movies for a little bit. I can keep going, no problem. I just want new content. So if anybody at Shudder watches or listens to this, get some new shit out there, man.
Yeah, but if you guys do enjoy the themes, definitely stick with us for the month of December because we have some cool plans. But for the rest of this month, we're going to be doing double features. So we have two movies today. The first one is a movie you can find on Shudder. It's called The Mortuary Collection. And the second movie, which is currently streaming on HBO Max, is Running Scared. So we're going to start off
2006 Running Scared.
Yeah, not the one with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal. Also,
there's actually three versions of the movie, three different. Yeah,
really?
So yes, 86, 2006, and I think one way before 86. So.
All I know is Jimmy Smits is the bad guy, and the one with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, and it's a pretty good movie.
And it was filmed in Chicago too.
That too. Jimmy Smits dies on an escalator in FAO Schwartz.
Now I want to.
Spoiler alert!
It's actually a pretty good movie. It's kind of like Billy Crystal's, like, you know, you're used to Billy Crystal going, "You look marvelous." And then he's like kind of a cop, and you know, it's weird, Billy Crystal, but it's good.
He does. I think he does say the line, "You look marvelous" too in there too at some point.
You know, I actually like the movie more not knowing that. So that little tidbit, just I don't want to watch it ever again. So, go on.
I do enjoy the movie City Slickers.
The search for Curly's gold.
But, so the first movie we're going to start off with, it's the Mortuary Collection. Now this movie came out in 2019. It actually released at Fantastic Fest, and then Shudder picked it up just recently.
Nice.
So it's relatively newer to the horror community. So this one has a runtime of 108 minutes. Couldn't find a budget or box office because this was another kind of, it wasn't a very marketed film. Um, For director, this is directed by Ryan Spindell, who also wrote the screenplay. This movie has for cast. I mean, there's a bunch of lesser known people. The coolest person in this film is, of course, Clancy Brown, who plays Montgomery Dark. And Clancy Brown, for anyone who doesn't, well, obviously the younger generation, SpongeBob.
They don't know.
But
They don't know the works of Clancy Brown.
Yeah, he's done voiceover work for anything you could think of. I mean, he's been in Highlander. He was in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, the guard. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in a bunch
Pet
of
Sematary
animated
2.
stuff like Superman. Yeah. Matt's favorite film with him in is probably Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
He throws the knife.
Hey man, he's got this scene in the movie that it's not only him, it's fucking Dean Norris, Hank from Breaking Bad, who also did small roles and everything else, including the one freak from Total Recall. In Terminator 2, he's the SWAT guy who sees Dyson when Dyson's like,
oh, he's got the weight.
and he's like, I don't know how much more I can hold this.
You better get out of here.
And then he's the SWAT guy. I was like, get out of here. You can't understand what the fuck he says, but he's the one who's yelling. But they're both in there, and he's like, is that your signature on this soldier? Casper Van Dien's like, yes, it is. And then Dean Norris is like, or he looks at it, he goes, doesn't look like it to me. Completely brings him back in the military to fight some bugs. Anyways, he's also Mr. Krabs.
And I didn't know that. But
I
yes.
like money. My favorite line from Mr. Krabs from the movie, when they ask him, why did you build a second Krusty Krab right next to the original? I like money. Like, that was just his answer. Sorry, Lewis, we got way off track there. Clancy, I love you.
When have we ever stayed on track for this whole show?
I would be worried if like we stayed on track for one movie.
know,
I'd be
right?
like, all right, guys, I can't do the
You all
podcast
got? What do you got?
anymore.
The flu? You got COVID? What's up? What's going on here?
So this is an anthology movie that I was not aware of. Matt pointed it out to
Good
me.
stuff.
Also, I didn't introduce us, but also if you don't know us, if this is your first episode, I'm sorry.
I'm Alex.
If
He's
not-
Lewis. That's Matt.
I'm Lewis. He's Matt.
Sorry, he's
I'm,
Alex. He's
I'm
Alex.
Anthony.
I'm Lewis. That's Matt.
I'm Peter.
I'm Pan.
So
I thought you were Paul.
This is an anthology movie that Matt showed me on Shudder. It's kind of a frame narrative. Basically, Clancy Brown's character is a mortician who
looks great, by the way.
No, he doesn't.
No. The character.
Oh, doesn't look like him at all.
Yes.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like Clancy
it's
Brown
a
at all.
great character.
It's like-
Sorry, I didn't mean.
It's like they tried to make a Squidward human version with Clancy Brown. It's the weirdest thing. Like, if between the voice,
I never saw a clarinet though.
Yeah, it's on his ass. Between the voice he does and the way he looks, you wouldn't know it's Clancy Brown unless you're like me and a Clancy Brown super fan. Write me back.
100 times
looks
better than
creepy,
that creep
though.
show movie that we watched though. That one. It's 100% better as a person that narrates compared to that creep show.
I miss the Indian. I'm sorry. He's my friend now. We bonded.
So this movie, I was telling Matt off the show, I was like, I had very low expectations for this movie, just because anthologies are done to death,
And I just read those and just kept sleeping.
yeah,
It was via text, and I kept reading them, and I just kept sleeping after I read them. So
I was
sorry.
trying to say it's a good movie, and Alex was like, yeah, well, go fuck this guy. I'm going to sleep some more. And then he eventually wakes up, and I just get an LOL. 5 hours later, it's an LOL. It's like, yeah, go fuck yourself, LOL.
Hey man, anything before 11 a.m. It's just not working here.
Brother, the day starts at 4.
oh god.
But I do agree. Like this, it did creep up. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so in this most anthologies usually handle stories in threes. This movie is a bit weird in that it has 4, and only one of them has an actual title, and it's the very last one. It's the Babysitter Murders. The first 3 segments don't have a name for the short.
I did find names for them.
Okay, because I could not find anything.
Yeah. So the first one was oh shit, where'd it go?
You know
It was
what?
the medicine. The first one was Medicine Cabinet.
Okay, the 1950s one. Yeah.
Correct. The second one was Unprotected. The third was babysit. What's it called? Babysitter Murder.
That's
No,
the
no.
fourth
Oh,
one.
that was the fourth
That's
one.
the
Okay.
final, yeah.
Till Death. Till Death was the third one, and then
Okay.
Babysitter Murder. But they didn't. They
That
didn't
one.
name.
Oh, that one.
They didn't. They didn't name the entire thing though, because it was. They did say 5 short stories. When I caught a thing on it.
The fifth is technically the frame
The
narrative.
entire movie. Yeah, the entire movie.
Which I got some problems with that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I got some issues with that.
Let's just jump into it. So I guess since it's an anthology, we can. Do you want to go through each like story kind of?
They were kind of quick and they progressed into longer. So I mean, we can if you don't mind.
They were quick, which is one of the things I really appreciate about this anthology. Like none of them overstay their welcome. They're all kind of quick and to the point, and like the the one my wife walked in, like she was walked in at the most weird time. It was the Unprotected one.
Oh yeah,
where he's having, where it's literally where his dick explodes on the camera.
Yeah. And that's where my fucking child, my oldest child, happened to just.
So
I'm gonna go sit on the couch and fall asleep here.
So
and I'm like, get out.
The Unprotected storyline. It's a basic college storyline. 2 kids hook up. And I will say this, like, do college kids fuck all night?
According to this, yes, they do.
Are they all just on ecstasy? And it's like, let's go have 6.5 hours of fucking. So
was it 6.5? I thought it was like just from 1 to.
It went from like 2 a.m. till the next morning they were asleep.
Yeah.
So she tells him, make sure you wear protection, and he's a dick, so he slips it off intentionally, right?
And the way he shot it to the
like all cocky, like
he slingshotted it.
The next day, he's not feeling too great, and he starts to progress. Next thing you know, he's got a gut starting to grow. Goes to the doctor, and the doctor, his tests come back. He's pregnant. So then,
didn't one of his what do you call it? They're not sorority. They're
they would be fraternity.
His brother, one of his brothers, he pointed out and said, "It looks like poison ivy."
Yeah,
dude,
he's like, but you get more. You get more than I do.
His voice, oh my god.
He was, oh god, I wanted to fucking kill him. I was hoping he was gonna die, but it didn't work.
Well, so it eventually, builds to the point where he's got to give, and this is all within like 24 hours, by the way. It builds to the point where he's gestated whatever it is, and he finds this girl and goes to her house, and he meets her essentially, I guess, parents or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And she, like, the mother looks at him like, oh, not again. And
isn't it like after he does the 99 combinations of the last 2 digits of her number?
Yeah.
He wiped it all down off the mirror.
Like, he had to go fucking, like, Dick Tracy on there to get the number back. So it culminates to they got him up on stirrups, and this baby's going to be born, and he's like,
which is built into their kitchen table, their dining table.
Yeah, like this. So, well, you get into that. So he asked, how's it going to come out? And like, the same way it went in. And I'm thinking in my head, like, C-section? Why can't you just do a C-section? But so the scene Lewis was referencing at the beginning of this is literally they do a quick close-up shot of his dick swelling and exploding because the baby's coming out that way. And this thing rips out of him. You never really see it. They put it in the wrap and they take it upstairs. But upstairs is filled with them. Dozens of these things. And all it is this horror of a demon.
You're talking about cribs, right?
Yeah, they're what are they, bassinets or?
Cribs, yeah.
So, like, the attic is just full of these things. And as the grandmother of these demons spawn literally tiptoes around them to not wake them up, and she does, and as she exits, they're like demon children, basically. Like, they screech and they got claws, and
you see the claws come out.
Yeah, and so literally the horror of the daughter can't control herself and is going around creating demon children everywhere she fucks.
While he's giving birth to her child, she's actually taking another date on a call.
Well, she knows
she's
dead.
She's actually calling somebody else, yeah.
She knew. She's like, oh, I fucked this one up. Should have worn condom, bub.
Although, the grandparents are probably okay with it because that tax return check probably looks pretty good.
Ah, yeah.
Oh shit! Not under my
That's a
not
Hispanic
under my
Christmas.
tax plan. Under
My
tax plan,
unemployed student daughter
it's,
keeps getting
no,
pregnant.
no. Under
But
my tax plan, maximum of 4 demon spawn. That's it.
No, that's a Spanish Christmas.
You know, you never have to worry about family coming over when you make 30 of them.
oh shit.
So actually, there's the scene too before he gives birth where his fraternity bros
There you
do
go.
the
That's the word I was looking
ceremony
for.
where they hold him up in the chair and he ends up
Oh.
basically breaking his water all over him.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
pretty gross.
He sprays mucus water all over them.
Yeah.
This is a weird short, man.
It's one of the
he,
grosser
he
ones
accomplished
I've seen in a
he
while.
accomplished 67 goals. He got 67 notches on his bedpost, so he got to put his name on his banner.
And that's the other thing is like it was kind of imbalanced because besides like the notch post, the bed post, and the condom thing, they play him out to not be all that much of a douchebag.
Right.
So it's kind of confusing why you would choose like, yeah, he's a douchebag, but he's like the nicest douchebag in the room, and like he's the one that's chosen. Like, I don't know.
He had this complex where he was a big guy when he was younger, and then he becomes smaller. But he said, "I'm never going to be that way again." So he started becoming a douche. That's what it was.
Which, by the way,
It doesn't always happen, but
you have a gut that's now grown, but you completely ignore the fact that there's like veins and blood and shit everywhere, and you're just
Yeah.
like, and I'm fat again. Like that's what's on your mind, not the fact that you feel something moving inside of you as you grow. Like
or the warts and the pus that's coming out of the top half,
oh.
which was also something that was seen in, which they shown was kind of fucking.
I watched this by myself, and I'm glad I did because it's a kind of a gross fucking movie at points.
At parts, yeah.
Yeah.
Lewis, you got anything else to say on what was this one called? Unprotected?
This was Unprotected.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to the first. Well, yeah. Help Wanted was the first one where she gets introduced.
Yeah, I mean we can do them out of order. This one was just like awkward and weird.
Yeah, I mean maybe if you're like into the women power thing, you're like rooting for it the whole time. Like maybe it's maybe the whole like thing is it's not meant for us. Like we can get entertainment out of it, but the idea of like a dude's dick swelling and exploding from childbirth isn't something guys think about as like fun.
Mm. Well, to say something. When I first watched the trailer, the first thing I saw was him being shot put up in the stirrups.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What the fuck am I about to watch?" I was just like, "Holy shit!"
that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Matt recommended a snuff film.
Yeah.
I actually just started watching 8mm with Nicolas Cage the other day. I gotta finish that. Movie's pretty good. Anyway, sorry, it's about snuff films.
So I guess we'll jump to one of my favorite shorts in here, which is the first one, and that's what is it called? The
Help Wanted.
Help Wanted. No. The restroom.
The cabinet or medicine cabinet.
Help Wanted is the frame story.
I misplaced that. Yeah.
But one of the cooler shorts I think in this, basically this woman, and all of this takes place, I believe, in around the same time period.
I think it does.
As the stories go on, they get closer to the present.
Oh, okay. This short, it's like 1950s. It's like this fancy party.
It also may have been just like a costume party or some shit.
No, it says it's 1950s.
Oh, it did? Okay, I may have. Okay, I missed that part. Then.
If you look at the narrative, it goes 50s, 60s, 70s, and then 80s, which is when the frame narrative is taking place. But the first shorts, it's cool. It's kind of all shot in one room. You see this girl open a door, basically tell this guy, she has to use the bathroom. She ends up walking in the bathroom, sitting down, and you find out that she's a fucking thief.
She's a thief.
She pulls out a couple wallets, and she's basically taking the money out and putting it like under her bra area, tossing the wallets in the garbage bin. And then kind of takes it's kind of random in that while she's sitting there just getting ready to like go and leave, you hear I guess like a knock from the medicine cabinet. And that's where the short gets really weird.
Yeah.
Because
It's like Stranger Things meets The Fuck.
Yeah, she tries prying it open, and basically this tentacle-like thing escapes. This is the entire short. That's how short the short
doesn't
is.
she,
this one's,
doesn't she like kind of cut her hand
She does.
where she's
Yeah.
trying to open it, and then the blood drops, and that's kind of what sparks the tentacle thingy.
Yeah, and
it draws it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically, long story short.
Long story shorter.
It's longer to explain the fucking thing.
She ends up trying to escape the bathroom, but being
Consumed by the whole,
creature.
One thing I do find pretty great about the beginning is like when she's like, I need to use the bathroom. He's like, you're not going to leave me, are you? She's like, no. And the whole time she's ripping everything off like he's just another mark.
Also, I mean, granted, she did leave him a certain way, but where the fuck did she go? It's the bathroom.
Well, that just clearly shows you he doesn't trust her. Like he's already got like, I don't know if I trust this gal.
Well, if you ever saw the movie The House, she went into the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, right. The House 2, second story.
House 2, second story.
Stupid fucking some dude in an office sat there and was just like, I've got it, gentlemen. I've been up for 37 hours. I've got it. House 2.
What do you have to say about Sharknado?
Fuck those movies. That's what I say about those movies.
I think we should cover those at one day.
They suck.
Just maybe like one or two of them. One or two. We got to pick two of them.
They're terrible.
We have to pick two, though. We have to pick two and do.
Why? It would literally be an entire episode. Or me.
Why the fuck not?
Like I'll film that episode for you right now. You ready?
No. We have to do it together.
Wow, that's ridiculously stupid. I can't believe the fucking writing in this movie. Wow, that CG sure is bad. Entire episode.
Would you get a better review out of Sharknado or Open Water?
Oh God, Open Water. Open Water. I remember being a kid watching it and confused why there was titties in it. And then you watch the rest of the movie and you're like, that's why it's boring as fuck. Literally, they have a random where they're in the hotel and she's just there topless. And as a kid, you're like, I don't hate this, but curious why this is needed. And then you realize the next fucking 50 minutes of movie is.
If you do want a recommendation for a stupid movie like both of those, but that is actually pretty fucking cool, the movie Crawl is pretty cool.
I actually haven't seen that one. I thought you were going to say John Carpenter's Vampires.
That would be me saying something like that.
Yeah, Daniel Brodwin. I haven't seen that one at all. Actually, I've had. I'm just gonna leave this background up. I haven't changed my background for the movie. I'll have it for Running Scared for the next one. Little bit behind the scenes. Sorry, Louis. Go on. I haven't seen Crawl. That's the one with the big ass alligator, right?
Yeah.
I had interest in it. I just never saw it. Oh, he made it?
Yeah.
Who did?
What?
Who made it?
Sam Raimi.
Raimi directed that? How the fuck did I not know that?
Now I'm second guessing myself. Let me double check. Hold on.
I could be wrong. If that's the case, I mean, I'll stay up till 6.
Oh no, I think he produced it.
Okay.
No, I'm wrong.
Damn you.
That's not a bad thing. He doesn't put his name on everything.
It's a good movie though. It's on Hulu. It might be on Hulu. It might be on Amazon. I don't know. Look at it.
Yeah,
it's on something.
I'm gonna have to check it out because I have had interest. Now that I know it's actually pretty decent.
2011 and 2019.
19, right?
He produced it. And
19.
it was his production company.
Okay.
All right. So second story. We were talking about the one with.
No, we didn't finish the.
Yeah, like I said, it is a very Stranger Things feeling because like even the CG they use, it has kind of that glow look to it.
Yeah, and the her getting sucked into the medicine cabinet is pretty fucking cool.
It's nice and brutal.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of cool. They did it all without blood, though. Other than the blood that she dropped in the sink.
No, the like contorting of how it does her body is like,
Right.
Yeah,
But
no,
this movie does, like, with a lot of the effects, it does. There's obviously not a high budget, but it does a lot of creative shit in some of
Hmm.
the shorts. Especially when you get to like the babysitter murder one.
Oh yeah.
okay, so we'll just jump. I really like the twist. There's actually several twists in this movie. All right, so let's go. Let's finish them, then we'll build up because the babysitter one really is the kind of like there's the finale, and then there's the prologue. Basically, is how I look at that final bit.
Let's jump to segment 3. So that's
Well-
the husband and the wife.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna tie two things together when we get to this certain part. So
I my least favorite short.
Mine too.
Synopsis is man marries woman, woman goes into a what how do they call it?
vegetative state.
Yeah, just kind of vegetative state
for some
where
reason.
she's not aware.
Broccoli.
Every day he's got to feed her and bathe her, and
Which he goes all out and makes these meals.
Guys.
Makes him fucking look phenomenal.
Yeah, and he literally plate like I found that very endearing how he
Plates
plates
it,
them
yeah.
and then he just right into the blender though.
And then he
like
puts them in a blender. for her.
That shot where it's literally beautifully plated and then like in the blender it goes is a really great contrast. It's a nice juxtaposition there.
It shows how much he actually loved her. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it wears on him to the point where the idea of like maybe I should just kill her like starts to get into his head, and he well, it really goes from 0 to 60 or 3,000 when it goes from
The doctor gives him the red pills.
yeah. Okay, so the doctor who is in every short of every one of these stories, including
Exactly.
including the baby, so he's a connecting tissue, obviously. But I can't wait till we get to the babysitter.
I think he was the medicine cabinet. I think he was the voice on the medicine cabinet.
Possibly.
That's just
talking to
me.
the girl.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah. Because you said it went by decades, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was the voice. I'd have to watch it again now that after I watched the movie and completed it. I'd have to listen to it again just to hear the voice because his voice is kind of distinctive. But I just saw it from those two.
So where were we?
The doctor.
The doctor. So the doctor basically gives him these pills, and he says these are relaxers. You know, if she takes too many, she can die, and there won't be any trace. And he's just like, more medication? Like a fucking idiot. The doctor's like, if she takes too many of these, she can die, and they won't be able to trace it. It'll just be like she passed away. So he feeds her these, and then he gets her really nicely dressed up. He gets really nicely dressed up. He prepares a beautiful meal, and then in the blender it goes for her. He finishes eating, and he tries one last time, where if you're in there,
to get some kind of response out of her.
Yeah, give me a sign. To the point where he even yells, which is something you feel that the character never does. And there's no response. She's catatonic. Catatonic is the word. She's catatonic.
You go.
And he decides to go through with it, and whatever he gave her wakes her up out of her catatonic state. And Lewis, where does it go from there?
Well, fucking
She kind of gurgles and
she like
she grabs his hand.
Well,
That's the first response.
No. Before that, we have to bring up the piece that he gets.
She's an aficionado of a certain item.
Little figure, the pewter figurines.
Yeah, so there's this pewter figure that is on the table, and I don't know if he puts it there instinctively or it's just there.
No, he shows
he
it
presents
to
it to
her,
her.
and then he puts it down next to her, like I got
He's
you.
He's trying to get a response out of her.
Yeah,
it's something that you love, and then it kind of pans out to all the other figurines that he's given her over the years.
Of
a hare, a rabbit.
Yeah.
But once she ingests the food and kind of snaps out of it, she grabs his arm, and he gets this like second wind of like, oh my god, I need to save her.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts kind of like
I guess Heimlich.
He tries to make her kind of throw up because she just ingested the poison.
He tries to perform his own charcoal type.
Yeah.
I was gonna say CPR, but that would be the wrong thing. I remember in health class, like, never perform CPR in someone that doesn't need CPR.
That's only the sternum you'll fracture.
Have you ever overinflated the lungs on the dummies?
No.
Yeah,
I don't
I've
have
done
that
that.
strong of a gust.
I've done that on the dummies, and not a real person, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel bad for your wife. Breaking ribs trying to kiss the lady.
I learned my lesson after that.
But he does end up getting the food out of her and kind of like goes to relax and lets her go. She ends up falling.
It's funny, but it's not funny.
And fucking the pewter doll or whatever it is just jams right in her forehead. Which it like the way the scene is building up, you're like, you don't see this coming. It's like you see the pewter doll and you don't even think like that's gonna come up eventually.
Well, because they blended in so well by showing all the other ones.
When it happens, you don't realize that she impaled herself in some way, you know.
Well, also the whole scene with like this short is weird in a sense that the whole scene with him being like endearing with the wife, like you're kind of caught up in it because I wouldn't have expected that type of like acting in like a short like this, but like you actually feel fucking bad for the guy.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, and I was waiting till somebody brought this up. There's two types of people that watch this movie. There's people who are not currently in love at all, young people, single. And then there's people who are married and have wives and are partners.
Sorry, just
Losers. And partners. And the difference is when you have experienced love and a partner and everything, you can tend to empathize with a character that's in a situation where you can kind of say, if that was my wife, fuck, like I hope I would have the dedication. And
right, where would I be?
You see how much they love this person. And it goes from holy shit, this guy's a great husband, to he is chopping her body into pieces.
Well, he's using a what do you call it? The
carving knife?
Yeah.
A carving knife, like a fucking Thanksgiving carving knife.
Like in a short where you don't think you're going to get much violence. And the beginning of it tells you you're not going to get much violence. And then you get quite a bit. And then it gets worse.
Yeah, I mean, he uses the carving knife, the one that your aunt at every Thanksgiving is like, who wants to carve the turkey? But no one wants to fucking carve the turkey.
You'll get perfect slices with the electric carver.
I hate that, and you know they're gonna ask you that, and you don't want to do it. It's like, do it your damn self.
Here's the thing: if I'm gonna carve the turkey, I'm gonna go Gordon Ramsay up in this bitch with my sharpening and my knife. I'm gonna ting 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 ting, and then I'm gonna do it like a man. Go on.
I'll tell you this though: at my house, I carve the turkey no matter what. Sorry, go ahead.
He's so muscular, he carves it with his bicep. He just
just on my hand, man. I just go.
Oh, those karate.
So he ends up cutting her into pieces and packing her into a trunk, and then he has the Benny Hill theme song music version of trying to get her body from point A to point B
with his irrational fear of elevators.
Wasn't there a point though where he like puts he's turning the thing on and he goes to put it on her leg, and as soon as it touches her leg, she fucking opens up again, screaming, and she grabs his arm, and he fucking grabs that hair out of her head.
Yeah.
The rabbit, the pewter thing.
And pushes it in more.
He pushes it in, but then he pulls it out, and you see this big thing right above her eye or some shit.
Like, here's the thing: he literally could have just explained her death with, I went to the bathroom for a minute and she fell over.
She was choking, and I did something, and when I let her go, she fell face first.
She fell face first onto the pewter character. You could just say, I don't know what happened. I was in the bathroom. I come out, and this is what I find. You don't touch her body at all. You call the cops, and that's it.
This is all on record for when one of us inevitably kills our spouse.
She's asleep.
Look at these idiots trying to explain it.
She's asleep. Now you're going to put a pillow in her face? Is it a nice fluffy one?
She keeps it up. It'll be the long sleep.
Well, the reason why he did that, though, was because he called the doctor, and the doctor gave him advice. He said, throw her body in the river.
But the pills
get rid of the body. Throw her in the river.
But they were untraceable. So it's like no matter what, you would have been like. Everybody knows that you've got documented over years of her being catatonic. Like I went and took a shit.
The pewter
And she
thing in
fell
her
over.
fucking forehead was traceable, though.
Yeah, fingerprints all over that.
But my favorite part was the doctor saying, "Get rid of the body, throw her in the river,
Which
and don't
tells
call
you,
me back."
Which tells you that he's a piece of shit, and that what ends up in the final story is kind of comeuppance.
Man,
I didn't think about that until you said it.
As we're talking about it, I changed my mind. This is my favorite short because it goes from like 0 to 10.
Yeah.
And then once the elevator scene, it's like we're going up to 20. Like
Well,
it
yeah,
just gets.
the
I love
elevator
the elevator
gets
scene.
trippy and just all sorts of fucked up. Which
I love the fact that
so-
it was kind of like Big Bang Theory, where the elevator didn't always work.
just
Yeah.
I know. Fuck that
So,
elevator.
and then I mean the trunk starts bleeding or opens in the elevator, and his first thought is I'm gonna try to mop up the blood in the elevator that's all over the floor. He's just fucking spreading it like. It's like
You
at
know,
that point, just give up, man.
I had to rewind that thing twice because I couldn't figure out where the fucking blood came from. And, like when he put his hand up, I couldn't figure out where the blood came from. But then, as it progressed, and I finished watching it, I was like, oh, okay, now I get it.
So we haven't mentioned. Oh no. Okay. So yeah. So they kind of explain the elevator fear that he has, but it's kind of like a grow up. What's your fucking problem?
Oh, at the beginning, yeah. When he talks to what's her name? I can't remember her name, but basically she's the lady from what's it called? Deadpool. She's the blind lady.
Oh, was that the same woman?
No, I said basically she's kind of like her.
When I saw her,
she's always calling you out on things.
When I saw her, I was like, Lightfoot?
For Chicago, for those in Chicago, you know Lightfoot.
We rate movies with fucking Chicago dogs. I think people know what city we live in.
I mean, if
they may not know who.
If you're not from Chicago, our mayor is Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
Beetlegeist. Beetlegeist. You have to say it the right way.
Halloween year-round for that woman.
If you say her name 3 times, she appears. So say Beetlegeist.
I will say I feel like at least Beetlejuice's pantsuit fit him.
That's 2 times. Don't say the third, man. She's going to show up and lock up your house, man.
Can I mix it up? Can I throw a Bloody Mary in there?
She's going to lock you down.
Bloody
You're gonna see
Pritzker.
Lori Lightfoot just floating behind my fucking window.
Well, she's so wee, small, and so cute.
I love her pantsuits though, man. I gotta get me some oversized clothes.
Right? She just like, how does she literally just goes to the clearance section and is like, fuck it, bell bottoms it is. I'll take 10 of them.
Maybe all of the big and tall that closed in Chicago, she bought out all of them.
They were on clearance for $250 a piece. I love those savings. So, Louis,
So
you want to finish this out?
He's cleaning up the elevator and he looks up at the escape hatch.
Yeah.
He's gonna go through the escape hatch.
Well, let's let Louis go ahead and take us out at the end of this story. Fuck,
Yeah,
this
so
sounds
he
weird.
does Benny Hill theme song his way to the elevator with the trunk, and basically the elevator, if I recall this correctly, stops working, and then some kind of stuff happens with the trunk where it starts leaking blood. It's kind of starting to move. He's hearing almost like auditory hallucinations. And the elevator starts to work, but starts going down. And as he's
Very fast.
as he's looking through the window of the elevator, as each floor passes, he's kind of seeing snapshots of his marriage and his wife, and just kind of all like the happy moments.
Yeah.
So the picture starts to kind of turn sour, and then this is where the kind of the crazy effects of this short kind of come into play. It gets almost very like sci-fi-ish.
Yeah.
Where his wife actually comes out of the trunk, and the coolest prosthetics I've seen in a while in a low budget film like this, almost very like Carpenter-esque. Her face is kind of her. If you watched our last show, her face is Daniel Baldwin. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then shame on you. You need to watch our last show. So that's a callback.
I just like I still don't know how you justify rating his acting as horrendous because he woke up like this.
This is the equivalent of that meme where the guy's throwing gas on a fire. That's what I just did for Matt and Alex.
I don't even like Daniel Baldwin. Like, he's not a good actor. I just don't feel he was that bad in that movie. And
he got the worst act.
You made me
worst
fucking
supporting actor award.
You made me defend that fucking asshole. And I don't care about him. It's just I don't agree with you.
Literally, what if he watched that episode and he's thinking to himself, like, I like me. Yeah. I think I'm pretty good.
I'm going to send him a super bit DVD copy of Vampires and sign it. It'll be worth $7.50. Wait, actually, you're going to have to pay for postage.
Is it mean that I knew in my head, since you wanted me to describe this short, that when we got to that part, that was the analogy that I wanted to use?
It's not mean at all. It's fantastic.
I'm going to get a record of being like a Daniel Baldwin lover. And I truly don't like him as an actor. I just didn't think he was that bad. Like, there was moments, but I don't know. Like, the justification of why you hated him so bad.
That's like, the critic box quote from Matthew. Like, I didn't think he was that bad.
Yeah, the quote, it's like, Daniel Baldwin's still alive?
He still acts? Where is he at?
I lost the Deadpool. CelebrityDeathpool.com. No.
So, all right. So to wrap this fucking.
I did like how everything started to levitate. How everything started to.
Yeah, it was cool.
I would have been
shitting a brick compared to him though. Like, he's just kind of like cool, and I'd have been like, "What the fuck is going on? Who laced my weed?"
He just went through a whole scene of seeing his wife at the happy stages of when he met her, and then he turns around and sees her at the stage that she's in now.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah.
Which is the super sci-fi fucking version of it.
Yeah, and basically once her ghoul like figure kisses him, and there's like this cool fucking sci-fi scene of them spinning, the elevator stops. And basically it cuts to the police coming in when the doors open, and he's cradling the chest or the trunk that his wife is in, and basically now he's crazy.
And there's no blood anywhere.
He's catatonic.
Yeah, and he's repeating the words "till death do us part" or some shit like that. More or less like his vows, his wedding vows.
Yeah, it was kind of.
He kept repeating that over and over.
It's one of the ones that fucks with you more mentally than anything.
Yeah,
I definitely did like that one too.
Yeah, and I think a lot of whatever budget they had went, I think, to the
just in that short
to this one. Yeah,
the CG in it.
But I mean, jumping to the last one, which is pretty fucking cool too. Matt, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I have. There's some things I really like about it, and some things Okay, so basically we get to the last one where the blonde girl who starts the movie is the one who's kind of like looking for help wanted. Or she comes in asking for, is the position open? Of course, Mr. Krabs is, the position's always open.
Montgomery Dark.
We're always
I like that name.
Mr. Krabs. We're always hiring, or whatever he says. And so it gets to the point where he's been trying to spook her more and more with each story he tells. And she's kind of like, fuck you, asshole, I'm not scared. And he's always got like this look of like,
they just go, yeah, I'm not scared, yeah.
Basically, like and he's got like this look on his face after every story of just like, bitch. Like he's like trying to get her. And so it gets to the point where she comes to the coffin of the little boy that's in the coffin. And right before he cremates her, or cremates the little boy, she says, I want to look at him one last time because he's here because of me. And she's basically like, let me tell you his story. So now she's the storyteller. And you get this really cool cat and mouse. First off, it starts where she's got dinner in the oven. And oh, man. So she got dinner in the oven. And there's this news report that comes over the radio about the mental hospital somebody has, people have escaped. There's a murderer who kills children. And then she goes in the living room, and there is a guy in the living room bleeding.
Can I stop you there for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Did you know that the movie the movie that they're watching, is actually the short for this whole thing? It's done by the director. He put it in there.
No, I didn't even really pay attention.
So that movie that they're showing that they're watching on TV that gets interrupted by the TV or by the news, is actually the short for the Babysitter Murderers.
Interesting.
That's what started the whole thing.
Is that out there on its own, where you can watch it?
Yeah. That's the short that he created, and that inspired this movie.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Cool. So she comes across him. He's in the den area, and he's bleeding and kind of injured. And they throughout this go to this kind of cat and mouse battle, and she's tough. He's pretty tough, and they go back and forth where they get to the point where he can maybe get the upper hand on her. She looks at him and she goes, "You're not a murderer." And he kind of is like, "Where's the boy?" That's all he's kind of been saying the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually she gets the upper hand on him and dumps was it the TV or the air conditioning unit?
At the end was the TV.
Yeah.
TV.
So she dumps the TV on his head and kills him, right? So here we have the mother and the husband have been trying to call the babysitter and get a hold of her the entire time. Because they heard on the news about the break. And so they rush in, and who is it? But it's the doctor that's been through all of these stories. And so they come across the body that the TV's been freshly dumped on, and she's like, "Who is it?" And he lifts the TV, and he goes, and he puts it down, and he goes, "It's the babysitter."
It's the babysitter.
And they're like, "Where's the son? Whatever the kid's name, where is he?" And they're looking around for him.
Logan.
And one of the things she says was, "He ruined my dinner."
Uh-huh.
And you hear the oven ding. And the whole time, from the very moment this fucking short starts, she has got a child in the oven.
Yeah.
The whole time. The whole scene, she's the psychopath. And the reason why she wanted to look in the coffin is to rip the fucking teeth out of the dead baby.
Because she takes trophies.
That's her trophy. She tells him, you have your trophies, which are his stories and his pieces and things like that. Her collection is teeth from little baby boys. So, and the funny,
gets weirder.
It gets weird. That's the final story, but then there's the prologue, in my opinion.
Yep.
And
the tie-in for everything.
There was the whole conversation they have where she basically says, evil, there's never anything that's going to course correct evil. There's nothing out there that says because I do an evil act, I'm going to get, karma's going to get me, basically.
She says evil always wins.
Yeah, and he's, his whole position is, it's always got its way of coming around, basically. And so shit starts to shift and change, and he murders her, basically. And the house...
He murders her through all the past...
She stabs him, and when the knife comes out, it's embalming fluid that starts coming out of his body. And he basically explains to her that
and laughs at her.
Her story is just beginning. And I didn't catch this at first until I just read about it. But you start to see these demon babies come out of these books that are falling out off the shelf collection.
Yeah, I love that scene.
I didn't realize those are all the fucking kids she's killed.
And then he's like, "These are all of your stories." Yep.
And then and that's when the first kid takes the bite, his teeth fall out. You're like, "Oh shit."
What's more fucked up is basically what it sets up is he is now free, and she's the new mortician.
Well, she does try to escape a couple times, and it is kind of like that one, what is it called, Portal, where she runs through the door and comes back again. She runs through the door and comes back again.
There's no escape for her. This is her new permanent home.
Except Beetlejuice hours passed. This was like seconds.
Well, yeah, I know, right? And so basically, it gets to the point where they show her, and then he steps outside. And I knew this was going to happen. I called it. I was like, this motherfucker's, he's not going to last long. And sure enough, he gets outside of it, the curse is lifted, poof, he explodes into fucking fairy dust, basically.
But he was happy.
But looking at the picture she initially sees of him when she asks how old he was in the beginning, I'm pretty sure like when you see him like step outside, he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it essentially happened before that.
Yeah,
He
he-
just wanted to be free.
Well,
Yeah,
he
he was
said he
free.
stumbled across the house. He stumbled across the house that became his fate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he was also picked for the same, for whatever reason.
I
He may
would-
have been a bad guy too.
You know, I would like to see a movie that's just about him before he was the mortician. Like, make him a sick fucking murderer or something.
Yeah, what made him so bad that
Like-
was his fate?
Like, turn his character into like a hardcore slasher flick. And then have that lead up to him going to the house thinking he's going to rob an old woman. Or murder a family and getting duped. Like, have the first half of the movie a hardcore fucking slasher flick, and the second half of the movie a haunted house movie where he's the victim. Like, that would be awesome. You'd explain his origin, see him interact with the man. Like, I don't know. I'd fucking watch that.
And I guess we should say the movie does also wrap up with a bow, because initially in the beginning of the movie, there's this little Asian kid. I don't know his name. We'll call him
He's
Short
delivering
Round.
he's delivering papers. Yeah.
So Short Round on a bike. He's delivering papers. That's not racist. That was the character.
It's an
name.
Indiana Jones.
which
It's
was-
an Indiana Jones reference.
Which is a ripoff of either an homage or a ripoff of Creepshow 2.
Yeah. That's why I said it's better than Creepshow in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, the kid at the beginning that's afraid to go up to the house now is inside the house with the new mortician, and she tells him he needs to stay for dinner, and the door slams.
She's got several children. There's like 2 kids in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only did they not stop her, but they gave her more power than ever to just murder children freely. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Now she's taking advantage of it more than what he did.
So
I guess.
So how does evil not win? Like,
She was right.
He proved his fucking self wrong. Stupid Mr.
He chose her, and she. Are you gonna blame Mr. Krabs?
I like money.
I like freedom.
His voice was so much different in this movie, though.
I really did like this movie too. There was a couple of other things that we didn't touch on that was kind of cool. As far as the story goes, just like how everything was kind of playing into it, but
Touch it.
just touch it.
It.
No, just like how the story, because I found that one article about the movie, but like oh shit, now I'm gonna have to go back, man. Fuck you, asshole.
It was your incoherent thought, Dick.
No.
It's
Oh,
almost
fuck.
2 a.m, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
know.
And
I know.
Alex isn't good at 12 in the afternoon, apparently, because he doesn't wake up before
I'm not
11.
good before 11.
You literally have worse hours than the fucking government buildings. You understand that? The DMV has better hours than you do.
Yeah. Anyways, the characters from fucking Unprotected were the ones that I was kind of getting at. The one fucking nerdy kid that was all he was in college for was to get laid.
Trying to,
And
yeah. He's kind of like
and
the
how
guide.
how the guy who ended up having the baby sent him off, for the lacrosse team, the girls lacrosse team. That was kind of cool to me. It's just those little things kind of made me laugh because it wasn't really all the serious horror movie. There was these comedic parts that kind of kept you into
Yeah,
it.
we don't have a girls lacrosse team.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like they try to paint him as a little like Van Wilder in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
and then, it goes differently.
And one of the things when the girl, her name is Sandra, which we never got into, but she says the things, like he goes, "I'm here just to try to get laid," and she goes, "So am I," and like his facial expressions just went from like he was trying to he was trying to take advantage of this woman.
I'm
but
pretty
then
sure
she throws it back at him.
I'm pretty sure I like Demon Whore more than I like her actual character name. So I'm gonna stick with Demon Whore.
But I just liked how she threw it back at him when he was trying to say that he was gonna, like he was trying to hit on her, but she kept throwing it back at him, and it was just kind of like building up to that part about what she was as far as, as the character she was, and there's people missing, there was all these other guys that were missing. She tells him, "Aren't you scared? Maybe I'm the serial killer that's taking out the guys." Which she was.
I mean,
she was impregnating all these men, all these college guys.
Well, I do like this short. I do get the let me cram my agenda down your throat when I watch it.
But that's not what I saw about it. I was just liking how she kept throwing back everything about the stereotyping of the character of.
But that's what I mean. Like that's the kind of like, here's my agenda, right? Like the idea being like, men are pigs.
The PP explosion. That's the only thing.
Like the concept for me partially is men are pigs. Let's write a short film where a woman can be a pig, because don't you know, every college girl has sex with a college boy, gets pregnant, and he leaves her because child support doesn't exist. The courts don't favor females in these situations in the real world. That's all I mean by like, here's my agenda. That's all. I look at things deeply, and I mean that's at the base what it was of like, let's show what it would be like if a woman was in the same situation doing this to the men. Now, last time I checked, teenage pregnancy doesn't involve being ripped open by a demon child, even at full 9-month gestation. But I haven't had a kid before, so I couldn't tell you.
Actually, he wasn't 9 months either.
It was a
He
day.
was like weeks.
He was like 9 hours.
No, it's like a day. I think, isn't it all in like a day?
Yeah,
because it's the next day, and she's like, when he goes over and he's about to give birth, and she's literally calling some other dude. Like, it's like
it wasn't even dark out yet, so it's about 9 hours.
Yeah, it's like they literally had sex for longer than it took for him to gestate the baby. Like I didn't even think about that. That's ridiculous.
That's why you got to stick with those Christian side hugs.
Oh God! Nah, we're going.
Leave space for the Holy Ghost.
Between this space is for my shame. Between the Rona and everything, we are gonna get to the point of Demolition Man, where it's like
demolition.
Like, God, the music video where he's like shirtless on like a mountain set, and he's just playing his bass, and it's like
all I remember is you saying this every time we were fucking working was demolition.
I
kept doing that through the whole fucking time we were working.
Because they had the music. Like, I saw the music video for it, and it was like 1 a.m. one night, and I'm red-eyed, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then like it got stuck in my head. So every time I would like it would be in my head
for like 2 months when we were working together. Demolition. That's all I kept hearing you say.
Then we made sure that we played it for everybody, so they knew what the reference was too, and it would get like literally Sting shirtless. When there's like fake lightning, and he's on like the Mortal Kombat Annihilation set.
Play that movie at Blockbuster?
No,
right?
No. But they had
usually during our inventory hours.
But it was a music video they had on one of the things.
It did play on the trailer, yeah.
Where he's like literally dum 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 demolition, and he's just like, it's just a ridiculous song, and it's literally a song he wrote like 15 years before the movie came out. And they had him recut it and tweak it a little bit to be about the movie. It's just like, out of all like, I understand that's the title of your movie, but out of all fucking songs you can choose, like, it's this. There's no like hard rock, fucking. You can't like get to be like, hey, can you just rename the track to Demolition Man? Like, we'll pay you $1 million. You chose a fucking Sting song? Like, I don't know. That whole movie's awesome except for the fucking that song. Be well. All right, so we wrapped up.
I was going to say, on that note, do you want to rate this movie?
Yeah. Lewis, you go ahead and you rate it first.
Oh, man. This movie was good. I'm going to say it's a solid 3 hot dogs out of 5.
Alejandro.
So me, I did enjoy this movie. I'm actually gonna go a little higher than you, man. I'm gonna say 4 hot dogs, because I did like it, man. It had the comedy, it had, and for it being like you were saying, an exclusive, and the budget that they had, and we don't even know what the budget was, but like for what they had and how the characters looked. What's that?
God damn it! I'm going up to 4.
4 pesos.
But like the character that they, like how his makeup was and the CGI, it was good.
It didn't look anything like it looked, just in the eyes, it looked a little bit like him. But other than that, he was unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go with 4. What about you, Matt?
I'm gonna go counterculture on this one and go a 1. No, I'm joking. I'm gonna actually go 4 as well. I liked it a lot. It was nice. There was parts that were gross. There were parts that were kind of action-y and violent and some comedy, and they do tie it all together loosely, but it's still all tied together. So, I give it a 4 as well. So each of us giving it the trifecta, a total of
So Lewis did go 4?
Lewis is
Yeah,
at a
back
4.
to me. My second rating. I'm gonna go a 4 because I feel like a piece of shit.
You got a
'cause I liked
do-over?
this movie, and I didn't realize a 3 was not good enough, so I'm gonna go with a 4. No,
And it was
a really good
your
movie.
recommendation too, though.
You know what it is?
No, it was not. It was Matt.
Oh, it was Matt's? Okay.
The thing about
You
it
just
is
did at the beginning. Sorry.
we got to review these movies under a certain scope, and when you look at it, it's a low-budget Shudder exclusive.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a low-budget movie.
It did not.
When I see movies that don't feel low-budget, like that fucking movie they're pushing, the Exorcism movie that we watched.
I still haven't watched that one. I want to try that.
That one feels like a lower-budget movie. This
what's
one
the
doesn't.
name? The Cleansing Hour?
Yeah.
The Cleansing Hour,
Yeah.
yes.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but
The acting is shit, dude. Like the main character's acting.
On a Baldwin scale, what do you rate it?
So is Billy or Daniel the lowest?
in terms of
Baldwin?
stroke, is it like a little bit or a lot of it?
Okay, I'm gonna put it this way: the acting ability of the main guy is like a WWE wrestler's, and I'm not talking like
Yes.
The Rock.
Yes.
Like it's like Seth Rollins, like one of the middle guys. It's that level of acting.
You mean Zack Ryder? Not Seth
just
Rollins,
like
yeah.
where they're like, if they were just a little bit more talented, it would be believable. But because they're
Kalisto.
not, it's like you're trying to climb the rope and then you just fall to your death. Like,
Well, no, here's the thing. They're all very talented. It's just their acting ability that sucks.
well, yeah, but the problem is the main character in this movie doesn't have a ring to perform in, so it's just his acting, and he's fucking terrible.
Okay.
Like that's center stage.
So then that changes everything as far as the names we choose. Fuck. See, we're gonna go to do this wrestling movie thing that's gonna fuck with
I
everything.
mean, you can't agree that's like, I'm sorry, but there's not many great WWE stars anymore.
There are a lot.
No,
They
there's
just
not.
don't use them right.
Stop
There
blaming
were.
Vince McMahon. You're not.
Oh no,
great.
I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the
Bruce
whole thing.
Pritchard.
As
They're
a whole, they
they're not that
can't
great.
they can't put them all where
The
they
last
should be.
great star was Jericho. Name one better. Roman Reigns. Psh,
Oh fuck no,
psh. Seth Rollins.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
no.
I did love Stone Cold, yeah, personally. Anyways,
That's
we've given
another show that we're gonna have to create.
We've
Fuck
given
this. That's another show we'll have to create.
Matt and Alex arguing like 12-year-olds over wrestling superstars.
Wrestling, not
Oh,
wrestling.
Wrestling.
This is toilet paper. We're gonna take a. We're not. We'll be right back with you guys.
And for our second movie for tonight, we are going to be reviewing Running Scared. So this movie came out in 2006. It's got a runtime of 122 minutes.
Doesn't feel
This
that long.
movie, no,
It was long.
You thought it felt long?
I did. Yeah, I did think it sounded long.
I don't know. I feel like there are parts in this movie where it seems like it's kind of dragging a
there
little
are
bit,
some
and then
weird
other times
drag,
it's like
yeah.
fucking full throttle.
Yeah.
But this movie, budget 15 million, box office 9.7 million, so it failed.
Oh wow,
Wow.
That's like a small
Jesus.
budget flop on top of it.
Yeah. And you got to realize too, this movie came out in 2006. I mean, you had movies like Crank that came out same year.
Which is they're kind of parallel, yeah.
Yeah.
You obviously had Training Day, which came out 5 years before. So
This movie will say borrows some aesthetically
Yeah.
aesthetics,
Yeah.
you know.
I'd say between Training Day and Crank, it has that kind of style
The
from both
bastard
the
love
films.
child.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this was directed by Wayne Kramer, who also wrote the screenplay as well. And this has quite the cast. I mean, you have Paul Walker, who plays the main lead, Joey Gazelle. Cameron Bright plays Oleg, the kid who kind of escalates the plot of this movie.
Yeah.
Dipshit.
You
The
have,
fucking neighbor kid.
Yeah, that piece of garbage.
I have a lot to say about Oleg.
Is that an asshole?
Yeah. Paul Walker's wife is played by Vera Farmiga.
She's Norman Bates' ma in Bates Motel.
Okay. Was that a series or was that the movie?
It's a
No.
series that was on Sci-Fi. It was actually
Okay.
AMC. It's actually really good if you haven't watched it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have not
Yeah.
seen it. I've heard so many things. I think there were
It's
like
on-
5 seasons.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's all about.
Oh, is that long?
It's pre-Psycho, so it's basically you come up to Norman Bates when he's like kind of just an awkward teenager, and over the course of the 5 seasons, it explains like how he comes to be the Norman Bates you know from the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually really good. She plays the mother, and I can't remember the kid name, but he's in that show where he's the doctor with like autism or something. That kid plays Norman. There's like he's a doctor and he's got
Sounds
like
like a bad premise for a show.
I know. Now you're making me. Now you're making me look
it
it up.
sounds like it's from like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but I shit you not, he plays like a doctor who's on the spectrum somewhere, and anything more I say about this is gonna make me sound like I'm talking shit about things, and I'm really trying not to here. Like I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just trying to explain what the fucking show is.
So there's a bunch of people in this cast, but like some other notable names. You have
He's the good doctor. Okay.
Is that the name of the show, The Good Doctor?
Yeah, the good doctor.
Ah,
It's
okay.
on. It's still on now. I believe.
Yeah, it's his new show.
It sounds
Yeah,
delightful.
yeah, Sarah Marshall, Pet Detective.
You have Chaz Palmentieri.
Oh, Palmentieri, yeah.
Fucking Italian names.
That
I'm
dude's
sorry, but
awesome.
he's standard Italian guy in
His voice.
every movie. You also have Carol Roden, who did voice work for Grand Theft Auto. He's got a familiar face. I know he's in other movies I've seen, but he plays Oleg's father.
No! Come on, he's the bad guy in Hellboy. He's been in a ton of shit.
Oh shit! Yes.
Yeah, he's been in he's been in a lot of. You ever seen the movie 15 Minutes with De Niro and not Edward Norton, Edward Burns? Basically, he plays like a Russian terrorist immigrant in New York City, and De Niro and Burns are trying to track him down. He's been in quite a few good movies.
Well, some of his most notable things are Rock and Roller, Rock and Rolla. Sorry,
yeah,
That's a good
the
movie.
Rock and Rolla.
Oh, Orphan, Born Supremacy, and Bulletproof Monk, which I actually like Bulletproof Monk in a way.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in years, man.
I know. I like it in a way, but he was actually in that movie, so I don't know. Shit. All right.
Yeah, he'll pop up in random shit, and you're like, oh, it's that fucking guy.
But yeah, so this movie was also man, this entire week was curated by you, if you think about it.
I mean, here's the problem: is I have movie tastes that range from like I can like really good movies and I can like really bad movies, and this falls in that spectrum of like I love it, and in the same scene I could love it and kind of be like, the fuck. But
Yeah, so I just have one beef with an actor in this movie. So Paul Walker. I'm sure in life Paul Walker was a fine gentleman, but if you are listening to this podcast and you have an automobile and you have a For Paul sticker on it, please drive into a lake. You are a douche, and he's not a messiah. He was just an actor, and he's dead. So with that, we can get into the movie.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know where it was. Yeah.
Fast and Furious bros worship Paul Walker ever since he became a crispy piece of bacon in a car crash.
Yeah, oh wow!
Ooh, now let me ask you what you say. Have you seen the photos?
No,
Oh,
but
see, I've seen the photos.
I just have this cringe reaction. Like I know so many car heads they do the hashtag For Paul, and it's like you didn't know him.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
I think the problem is like I can understand people being sad, and I like understand like people tearing up at the end of Fast and the Furious 8. Like, I'm gonna miss you, Paul. But
Didn't they do like some CGI for his shit on there too?
which looked terrible.
But
It was his
I
brother.
like the Mr. Bean movies. I'm not going to put a sticker on my car that says For Mr. Bean.
I mean, but
For Bean.
if you're
For
if you're into cars like he was, him and his driver knew what the car was known for taking too sharp of a turns equals death ray. Like, they should have known better. You took a fucking 90-degree corner at 95 miles an hour in a car that's notorious for kicking out in the back end.
Man, we should have changed our list for actors that gone too soon for car accidents.
Shit.
People who died in car
James
crashes.
Dean, that's all you need to know. Fuck him.
Anyways, back to the movie. Man,
Where to begin,
I
right?
have a lot I have a lot to say about
Let
this
the
movie.
let it flow between your hate flow.
So this.
Sorry, hold on. We cut off Alex.
There was one person that I did not know that was in this. John Noble. Do you guys know who he is?
Who does he play? The pimp?
He's the head of the Russians. He's fucking. He's what's his name's he's Ivan's he's what's his name?
His uncle.
He's the uncle of Anzor. Yeah.
What else was?
Well, he's also in fucking Fringe, the TV show.
Oh
Fox.
yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I never watched that show, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking love Fringe. I didn't like the ending, but I loved the fucking TV show Fringe. It was fucking awesome.
That was that one with that Josh guy, or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah, the Joshua Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have I forgot to mention Michael Keaton.
He redeemed himself.
Walking Dead, as well.
Yeah. I like him as an actor, but like, he kind of doesn't fit any role.
He redeemed himself as far as the TV show goes into another TV show. He redeemed himself in that TV show though.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of random shit though too. Like he back in the 90s he liked to play cops.
Yeah.
Like I think he's also in Departed.
Oh shit!
Think about it. I'm pretty sure he's in that movie. Anyway,
we got to do that. We got to do that movie one day.
What we got to do is like either a DiCaprio or a Scorsese, something like one of those type deals.
Yeah. It'll take about 7 hours to go through all of them.
Yeah, no, let's watch the Godfather trilogy. We'll watch the Godfather trilogy. We'll just fast forward through the third one. And he's dead in his chair. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
So I had a bone to pick with the beginning of this movie that Matt wasn't seeing eye to eye with me. So I think that Paul Walker is a piece of shit in this movie. I think his character is a piece of shit.
I thought the same thing right off the bat because I forgot about the whole movie. So I believe you.
But that's the whole thing. Is like, spoiler alert, guys. You know this movie from fucking 2006. If you haven't seen it,
scared.
He's pretty scared, and he's running a lot of the movie.
I saw the movie back then too, but I forgot about it. I don't know if it's because it's Paul Walker that I forgot about it. I apologize to anybody out there.
There was a plot to one of his movies.
But there was a point where I was watching a movie and I was like, and I saw it and I was like, this guy's a fucking piece of shit. And as the story progressed, you made a point that we'll get into in a second, but
I can 100% understand your guys' opinion on this because I watched it with my wife, who I thought that I had watched it with already, and I hadn't. So, like, there's certain scenes in the beginning where I'm like, that's foreshadowing. And she's just like, oh, yeah? Huh? And I'm like, wait, you've watched this with me before, right? And she's like, no, I've never seen it. I was like, oh, it's like 10 minutes in. I was like, oh, I'll shut the fuck up then. And basically that was her opinion, was like, what a piece of shit this guy is. Like, she was not on Paul Walker's side at all. She's just like, I hope he fucking dies. Like, what an asshole.
He's so good looking, but I hope he dies.
I know, he's ripped like he's got a great swimmer's bod.
Well, so the premise of this movie, and it's very nitpicky to be like, I'm gonna fucking make fun of the plot, but yeah. Paul Walker, you find out later he's an undercover Fed, but the premise of the movie starts because he doesn't find a good spot to hide a bunch of fucking firearms.
Exactly.
And technically, he ruined Oleg's life because he couldn't hide a fucking gun, even though that kid probably was going to kill himself.
Like, he was a school shooter from the beginning. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if it wasn't sooner, it'd have been later.
He was a school shooter.
Fuck out of here.
He was an abused child, though. He was an abused child, and you saw that when they were playing hockey.
So was I.
I know, but not everybody turns out the same, right?
Yeah, fucked up.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at you. No, but if he really was a fucking Fed and he was hiding all this evidence, why wouldn't he be in a more secure area than a fucking panel in the wall?
12 years.
12 years undercover, and his wife doesn't know about it, and his kid is 10 years old. So he met his wife while he was fucking undercover.
But here's the thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
He was a Fed before he met her. He says that later on. The fact that it's been 12 years, and this is the first time his stash has been found over chance happenstance, tells you it's not that bad of a hiding spot.
Well, he does say, how many times have I said don't let him go downstairs to play.
Like, the thing about it is he's been covering it for 12 years pretty well, and this
But-
just happens to be the... But here's the thing. It's not that they came across it either. They fucking saw him do it because they were hiding.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well,
pretty secure for a while.
Which leads me to my second
Holy
person
shit.
I hate in this movie. Oleg. That actor, that character actor, he just has a punchable fucking face. I can't stand him.
Wasn't he known at that time as the kid that just does the...
Yeah, he was in a bunch of movies.
Yeah, where that
I
was
can't
the whole
think of what they
character.
are, but I remember his stupid face.
That movie with where he's like the son and De Niro as the doctor. It's called Birth or something like that. He was in a couple movies where his whole role was...
He was in Twilight.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Matt, you were right. It's Birth.
Birth, yeah. Yeah, with Greg Kinnear, right? And
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he was in that, like, where that was his character. He was, like, demonic, weird-faced kid.
Yeah, he has a punchable face. He still has a punchable face if you look at him now.
Yeah, yeah. It's the nose, bridge of the nose. Like, and then I actually looked into him a little on IMDb, and you read some of his, like, interviews, and he's just like, like most actors, I don't watch my films, and I don't even watch the dailies when we send them back. And it's like, yeah, it shows, you stone-faced fuck. Maybe if you watch the fucking daily, I can get a fucking emotion out of you, asshole. Sorry, go on.
He wasn't my biggest problem with the movie so far, though. But yeah, I can see where you guys are coming from, though.
Alex is literally looking at a list in front of him, like, still haven't hit any of mine. We'll get there.
So Paul Walker's accent in this movie goes
fake
in and
Jersey?
out.
It flip flops, yeah.
Which I can give credit to. I mean, once you learn that he's an undercover FBI agent, then you kind of could be like, okay, well, maybe that's why.
Well, part of it is like, and here's where I'm not trying to defend, but as like we dissect movies, my rationale is, if you pay attention, the scenes where he's like extra like Jersey and ghetto is when he's around the guys, or if he's trying to talk tough. Like, in between just regular conversation, he's fine, but it's almost like he snaps into an entirely different persona.
It also happens when he gets a little, heated when he's talking to his wife. Yeah, whenever he gets worked up and he's talking to his wife or somebody.
I was going to say, in my opinion, there is no, like, a little heated with him in this movie. Like, he goes from, like, they left the mess in the basement to, I'm going to fucking kill you! Like, that's where I am at all times. Like, there's
open the fucking door.
Yeah, like him in this movie is my spirit animal. I said this before the show. At all times, I can go from coffee's a little stale to I'm gonna fucking kill you, and I'm kicking down your front door. Like, I am Paul Walker in this movie. Sorry, go on.
That's one of the cool things about this movie is, I mean, as you get to a certain point, you find out he's an undercover agent.
The end.
Like,
the end, pretty much, yeah.
The very end.
He's a badass in this movie, but also, like, he is fucking like, in every scene he is dealing with either a gang member or trying to get information.
And he either makes a good or very stupid decision.
Yeah,
as it builds up, yeah.
And just making, like, these rash decisions. And the movie does a good job of, like, keeping the tension going throughout the whole fucking film.
It is one of those race against the clock movies where there is not a physical clock, but there is at no point in the movie that you feel that he's going to come out okay. Like, like, there's not one single point in this movie where you're like,
it's not going to end well.
Like, you know how in Adventures in Babysitting, you know, like, they got the tire replaced, but then he shot the windshield, you know, and it's like, at that point, you're like, how are they going to get out of the city? That's
they got to see the blues.
Like, it's just boom. Go ahead, sorry.
Plot armor is the good word. There's no, like, in most movies, like, you see an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, you know he has plot armor. Arnold's not going to die. In this movie, he's making such crazy decisions that every scene you're like, this dude's going to fucking get shot.
And he's such a ballsy motherfucker.
And then they get to the where they finally find him, Oleg, where he finally gets Oleg, and then the scene where the car rolls up behind him and it's fucking, what is his name, Tommy, and fucking...
Yeah, okay, so we're that's way ahead. Let's...
Yeah.
There's
even before that, Matt, you had mentioned off the show, and you could bring it up again, how this movie kind of turns up to 10 as soon as the first gunshot from Oleg happens.
Yeah, so it's fairly run-of-the-mill. He's obviously kind of a sleazy guy working for a sleazy organization, more than likely organized crime. And he's at home, and he's, you could tell that he is just, like, and here's the thing that I didn't think about until because I've seen this movie a lot of times. It's one of my favorites. But now that I'm watching him again, once again, I process him a little different. You don't think about the fact that the reason why this guy is jumped to fucking 0 to 60 immediately is between him being an organized crime, him being a Fed the whole time, the amount of anxiety and pressure this man is under. You could make the argument that, is it bad acting? Sure. Or is it great acting? And the fact is, this guy, at any moment, the character is ready to snap because of everything around him. His entire situation has created this guy who was once a noble Fed, undercover for 12 fucking years being sleazy guy, and in between you got an entirely new man that was produced by both the past, present, and future, creates Paul Walker, this jump to violence, jump to anger. Like, I mean, even when he's hunting down the gun, his first instinct is to point a gun at somebody and scream at them. That is his first, like, hey, are you Manny? Don't fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, and like, when you think about it, it makes sense, because the guy must be a fucking nervous wreck 24/7.
Comes to territory.
Yeah, even
You're good.
The scene where he is trying to wedge the bullet nervously out of the fucking wall.
Okay, so I'm not sorry to cut you off, but that scene, and this is where this movie, I say, has really weird tonal imbalances, because it goes from family life, the kid and the best friend, sleazy gangster, to he shot my house, I'm gonna kill this piece of shit, to fucking wonder detective pulling fucking bullets from walls and chewing up his nicotine gum and and I do want to point this out. One of the things in the beginning is he's nervous, he's eating his, and that's why I also say this guy is pent up, because if you've never eaten nicotine gum, even if you're a smoker, it's designed to where you chew it a little, you put it in the cheek a little, you let the nicotine get into the blood flow. If you rapidly chew nicotine gum and you aren't under tremendous pressure, you will vomit, because what it is a straight drip down into the stomach, and it has no time to absorb it all. So the fact that he's popping 2 pieces and just is very bad. Like, he's under some motherfucking pressure.
And then he went through a shootout right after that too, so his adrenaline was fucking firing.
And I almost feel like the movie is not an anthology movie, but the way it's fucking set up.
I felt that it was like an anthology when I was watching it, so yes.
Exactly. Like, it's almost like, and we'll go into why, but it's almost like each individual scene, the director was like, this is going to be my take on Training Day. This is going to be my take on Crank. This is going to be my take on Charlie Bronson. And it was just the way that, because then it takes middle of the movie, because the whole thing is...
And then the Duke.
We'll get into the...
Don't forget about the Duke,
I
man.
love
Don't forget about the Duke.
Called the Duke a faggot.
Before we get more into the plot, even though we jumped around to the end of the
really, we went
say,
fucking bing bong.
The like filming, the stylic, God, I can't talk. The filming style of this movie doesn't hold up, but the way some of the shots are done, even for their time, are fucking cool. You have a lot of panning shots going like into the car, or
I have through an issue with some of the shooting, though.
Through the mattress with the buckshot.
Yeah. And again, that style of filming does not hold up. It almost looks jarring and kind of wonky.
It looks like you're watching fucking WWE wrestling, with the way it keeps zooming in and out and shit. There were certain areas where, like you were saying with the mattress, I liked how it did that shit.
Like, I like the one scene where it looks like almost like the negative is coming off the reel, and then it cuts to the normal version, and then it cuts back to the negative burning out, like it burned on the reel, and it's like, why did you have to do that one? Like, the first one gave me the effect, and you kind of ruined it by oversaturating it with now the film has burned out, ooh, edgy. Like, I will agree, there was, like, that all goes back to my tonal imbalance comment, because it's just like, one scene, like I said, is this style, and then oh, I'm just gonna throw in a blue acid filter for no fucking reason. Like,
one of the other things was the flashbacks, and a lot of times, or not even flashbacks. It was just like a flash of what might have happened. I could have done without some of those. Some of them I could have done without.
yeah,
There was just too many of them for me. But I did like how they did that. But it was just too many. I don't know. That's just me.
And I think, and I will probably agree with you, and I will agree with you on the basis of it feels much more like lazy writing than it does any like interesting way to tell a story.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I now that you guys had said it, this movie does feel like it transitions into entirely different films that connect, because they're like, even when you get to jumping all the way to the end, like you feel like you're watching a happy-go-lucky movie when the whole film is just grimy and just like anxiety and tension. And there are, like Matt said, the scenes where Paul Walker is like around the gang members and he becomes like this different persona and more worked up.
He becomes Joey, as the wife would say.
Yeah,
Joey or Joe. Joe. They call him Joe though.
All right, so the wife.
His friends call him Joe.
I'm sorry, but the wife, right? I get it. You're in the car with the fucking kid, right? This guy is looking at a gun barrel to his fucking forehead if he doesn't find this snub-nosed 38 one of a kind, and you're going, language, Joey? The kid in the car with you? You fucking bitch. I'm gonna die tonight, and you're worried because I said fuck? Are you kidding me? Literally, no wife in the world would say that. If my wife said that and I survived, I would come back and slap her in the mouth, and I would go, how fucking stupid are you for telling me to not swear? The guys are behind me in the car. They're pointing a shotgun at the car right now. Like, come on.
They did have a thing, though, at home, though, right? Where they didn't talk language like that? Or they tried not to talk language?
They try not to talk language, and in the same... The fucking washer room, he's eating her out. What fucking household is this?
So one thing I didn't catch, and maybe you guys caught it, did she know that he was into dirty work like that?
Yeah, so...
She knew that he was kind of crooked.
She knew enough. Like, because there's that scene where he references his crewmates by name, and she knows exactly who they are. But you can see she's kept away from it far enough to when her and what's-his-face, Tommy, come into connection. He's like, hey, T, looking good. Like, you could tell they haven't seen each other in a while.
Right. So she knew enough that he was bad in a way, but she knew enough to stay out of it because it was a different place to be in.
So I think this would segue properly into the weirdest short film in this movie, which is Oleg at one point gets kidnapped by very white, very money.
Well, he wasn't kidnapped at first.
Well, coerced into a van, which I'm pretty sure legally is kidnapping.
Yeah.
You want some candy? Hey, you want some candy?
I got some popsicles over here.
Like, and of course you've literally got like, dead face fucking Oleg just, I'll take some candy. You got an inhaler? So the kid's been missing. There's a couple scenes we glossed over at this point. We'll kind of go back to involving the pimp because you got to kind of mention him. Yeah, I'm Mac Daddy Pimp fucking Mac.
Oh,
it's like
God. I wanted him to fucking get killed so bad.
Every line that guy had in the movie, I was like, as an actor, I get it. You're like, oh man, it's a big budget movie. But you read the fucking script, dude. Like your character's just terrible.
They could have found somebody else to be more believable.
This is my ticket to success.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride this wave all the way to B-movie Ponyville. So so anyways, Oleg gets brought into this house, and there's this playroom, and there's these two other children, and there's a camera, and there's plastic sheeting on the floor, and so you guessed that there's some sinister shit that goes on. It gets worse.
As soon as I saw the plastic fucking on the floor, I was like, whoa. And I remember watching this before, but I don't remember that fucking scene.
Really?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing.
15 years ago, dude.
I come from the land of 80s action movies. If there's plastic on the floor, somebody's fucking dying. Happen. Lethal Weapon 2. He literally walks in, and there's a comment because they kill a guy, and they just wrap him in the plastic on the floor. And the next time the guy comes into the room, he's looking at the floor, and the guy's like, what's your problem? And he's like,
just seeing if there's plastic on the floor. Like, they make a joke out of that. So I see
American Psycho.
yeah, exactly. Like, you see plastic wherever you are. I don't care if you are in a house that is being renovated. Dexter liked to use those.
I was about to say Dexter.
You see plastic on the fucking floor, get the fuck out of there immediately. Worst case scenario, you look like a fool. But you also could be murdered, so just walk away. Anyways. So you can tell shit's not quite right. And then there's these weird scenes where Oleg says he's got to take a shit, and he grabs her cell phone and he calls. He says, I got to go to the bathroom, whatever. And I saw Lewis laugh. He grabs her cell phone. He's able to dial out to Paul Walker's wife. He's able to locate a medicine bottle, and in the background there's these shadows that are supposed to be the people. I think
that was creepy at first. Yeah.
Well, okay, so this is another thing that Alex actually had brought up, and was the fact that these characters, some of them are based upon Grimm's fairy tales.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's even on the bottle of the medicine bottle. It says Hansel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had known that for a while, but for whatever reason, I didn't like the characters. I didn't line any of them. Like you had mentioned the pimp as Mad Hatter, and I didn't fucking get that one at all.
I'm gonna fucking rewatch the goddamn movie.
But yeah, so that's why it might feel a little disjointed, and that's why in the shadows, like one of them's got the crazy hand, and they look a little demonic because that's their monster true form that they're trying to show.
The shadow that was coming from the glass. Yeah,
exactly.
That separates the bathroom.
So it's a really weird, off-putting scene, and then she drives there, and the next thing you see is like they're behind the glass doors, and you hear Ola go, "I'm not gonna fucking touch it," and you hear the guy go, "Ow!" and a tussle, and she comes out because wifey's ringing the doorbell, closing her robe, so now you know what the fuck's going on. So, and here's the thing: I don't like her character in this movie. I liked
her in Lost, though.
I liked her in Norman Bates' show, Bates Motel. But this scene makes me...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're confusing the two. I meant the lady with the robe.
Oh,
she was in Lost.
Yeah,
she was in Lost.
She plays an uppity... Oh, so good. Like, it's just, like, so easy to hate her. Because the wife comes in and she basically says, either you let me in to search because he told me he's here, otherwise I'll call the cops and fucking wait for him, and we'll see then.
We'll be here for a half hour.
Yeah, I'll wait here for a half hour in the hallway with the Jersey accent and
with her short haircut.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, this scene makes me like her though. I'm gonna get back to why I like her because the hate is starting to overcome for her. And so basically, she searches the house, and then there's two kids in the bedroom. They're supposed to be their kids sleeping. And she's convinced that there's nobody there. She's leaving. And by the way, when she walks into the bathroom and dude is just flossing, the appropriate reaction isn't, "Oh, hi, how can I help you?" It's, "Get the fuck out of my bathroom, you kooky bitch."
What the fuck's going on? Who are you?
Yeah, he was just way too much like, "How can I help you?" Like, this isn't a fucking 7-Eleven. This is your private bathroom. If you're not hiding dead children, you don't have that response. If you walked into my bathroom, like, looking at me, it wouldn't be, "How can I help you?" I'd swing on you, man, woman, child, and I'd throw you out of my house.
First of all, I'd be yelling at my wife saying, "Who the fuck is this coming in the house?"
The next thing you hear would be a click.
So I had a lot of problems with this scene. Mainly the slow reaction of Paul Walker's wife in this whole fucking scene. Like, I think it's cool that, and I'll let you describe how it ends, but I feel like the build up, like, and maybe it's a testament to the writing being pretty good, because the whole time, like, she walks in and I'm thinking, like, there are no fucking pictures. How's she not fucking noticing there are no fucking pictures?
The fact
and then she finally notices.
Yeah. I loved that part, because it's like, where's all, like, even when I watched it when I was younger, I was like,
where's the logic in your thinking?
Where's the family photos? Like, what the fuck's going on here? And we'll go into how she ends up. I'll take care of the ending. You fill it in the blank into how she ends up finding Oleg.
Yeah, well, so basically, she forces her way in, is looking around the apartment while the two are just kind of observing her,
Nervously, very
yeah,
Yeah,
nervously.
very.
nervously.
Yeah,
And then she comes to this thought process of like, what the fuck, because the night's been crazy. So she goes to leave, and immediately stops again before the chick can close the door. And she's like, wait a minute. And she pushes back in and she's like, there are no pictures. And she starts frantically walking her. And you don't even notice when the scene, when she first arrives, you're so caught up in knowing that they're bad people. You don't actually look at the background and see that
right.
not only does this apartment seem weird, there's no pictures, there's no TV.
Well, at
it
this
doesn't
point, your
look like-
mind is, where's Oleg?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
she also does get introduced to the room, the playroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it doesn't, it doesn't even touch on that. So she goes to that playroom, and there's like some fucking weird shit going on. There's an arcade. She's like, oh, rich kids or some shit like that.
Yeah, she's like, wow, like kind of like,
Yeah.
holy, like,
Nice. Yeah.
like how a Jersey housewife would react to some rich bougie shit,
Wow.
basically.
And then that's when she leaves, and then she comes back to the part where you were saying about when she was about to
Well,
leave again.
I can't remember what triggers her though, because she says something about like our children, and then it like as she's
Yeah.
leaving,
Yeah,
she's like,
def-
yeah, your children. And then it triggers her to kind of double back and yeah, your kids. Where's the photos? And this beautiful, like literally this beautiful like condominium apartment, huge
With a fucking big ass playroom for the kids.
And then she's got the fucking balls to say, "We just moved in. We're not. There's stuff in storage." Oh, but the arcade, custom built for this apartment's in there. Okay. So
And I didn't notice. Did they still have the boom camera? Because we didn't say anything about the boom camera earlier.
So now
They had a boom camera in the fucking room.
Yeah, the boom camera is only shown in that first scene when they're trying to introduce the two brother and sister to each other.
Yeah.
Then they because you got to remember, once she gets it back into the playroom, they've cleaned it up. So the boom camera's up, the arcades are shut down, and she starts to kind of look around and she starts to put two and two together, and starts looking through open, and she looks in, and like the other thing is like he didn't even hide him well. Like you could see him completely through the glass of the cabinet that there's Oleg's like body wrapped in a plastic fucking bag.
Oh yeah. That,
Like,
yeah.
so he dumps out, and basically she's got a gun, and you're probably thinking, where the fuck did she get a piece? I didn't notice this till this fucking, like my 15th time watching this movie, till this viewing. She gets the gun from the bag of confiscated weapons he puts in the back of the SUV in the beginning of the movie, the ones he's supposed to
I
dump,
didn't catch that.
that he wants to get out of the house.
His evidence.
Because the cops are in the area, so he's in it because the kids got the piece. He's now going to take every one of them and get them where they're supposed to go and put them away. So he stashes it in the back of the SUV, which means whatever gun she's using was another hot piece of theirs on the market, because she pulled it out of the. They don't show her do it, but that's the only place she would have gotten one of those guns.
Here's another fucking plot hole that I gotta mention. If he is a fucking FBI agent and he is fucking collecting pieces for all the shit that's going on, as an FBI agent, it should all be like put into a fucking vault somewhere for all those 12 years. He shouldn't have that many fucking guns.
You would assume even
It
if
should be taken someplace and put into proper evidence and marked reason why.
Don't you have to build a case?
What, you don't keep them all on?
No, but that's what I'm
you don't
saying.
keep them all there.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You don't keep them all
You
there.
have to get them to the evidence to build the case. Like, how are they building a case on shit that's in your wall at your house? They don't even know that it's there. So, like, I mean, I guess you can
For
explain
12 years.
You can explain it as like deep undercover, but it's just lazy writing.
Yeah.
Or, not.
But it made good for her to come up with a fucking piece to do what's going to happen next for Hansel and Gretel.
Which I do like the fact that does explain, like, his fuck up in the beginning translates to her kind of fuck up that we're going to talk about, and it's a weird movie that's got so many connecting fucking dots, man.
At the beginning, though, they do make some kind of reference about him fucking something up, though, don't they? They said, "Don't fuck this up."
Well, no, Tommy's just a dick. Like they don't ever really talk like he's just an asshole. And we'll get into Tommy a little bit in the dialogue choices they've chosen for him in this movie. But so it ends up, and I love scenes in movies that end like this. I love scenes in movies where the ultimate justice is carried out.
I do like that too.
You know, like when you're seeing an action movie and Van Damme's getting the shit kicked out of him, and then out of nowhere he does 3 dragon kicks and the guy's head fucking comes off. Like that kind of. So she basically stands there and she looks in the closet, pulls the kid out, she revives them. Both of them kind of go for the gun at different times, and of course she's like, I'll fucking kill you, as she's giving the kid CPR, revives him, and tells him, get the other 2 kids, go to the car, Nikki's in the car waiting. So Oleg fucks off, and then she notices 3 dozen or so CDs, cases with kids' names on them.
Also, all those fucking vats of liquid.
What else though?
And tools.
The body bags that are
The
just
body
hanging.
bags are just hanging there, and it says body bags. Yeah.
And so she
So
said,
not only that, I don't know if you guys noticed on the CDs, they had names and ratings.
I didn't see the ratings part, but I saw the names.
One of the names I specifically remember was Charlie, and I think he was an 8, which is just because the thing about it is, it's not just
from the factory.
It's not just molestation though. Part of their whole thing is the murder. Looking at all the tools they dissect these kids.
I think they were also eating them too, because you saw the tools. Ooh. It was to separate pieces. I think they were also eating them.
Would that be like Hansel and Gretel's? Like I haven't looked up the connection. Is that the Hansel and Gretel cottage where they go in for candy and they don't come out?
Yes.
You guys are going to make me rewatch this fucking movie, man.
Lewis is like, it's not as bad as I thought. Apparently,
as soon as I saw the fucking the medicine bottle that said Hansel, I was like, oh shit, this is Hansel and Gretel.
See, I knew a long time ago that it was based off of Grimm's fairy tales, but I didn't find that he did good enough job actually connecting anything. Because like the movie's pretty disjointed as a film.
Yeah, it does go.
So basically she stands there and kind of has a little bit of an emotional breakdown thinking about all these kids that they've murdered and probably eaten, really. Mm-hmm. So she fucking, like the guy starts, I'm sick. I'm a very sick man. I need to get help. And he tells her that there's 100,000 in diamonds in the safe. Take what you want. And
cash and diamonds.
She raises that fucking 45 and puts 3 in each of them. And it's
she makes the phone call.
Yeah, that, you know what? That is the one scene in this movie where her acting is superb, where she's just like, "Hi, I just heard gunshots across the hall," and they're like, "What's your name?" And she's like, "Click," and then the face of the wife of the monster is just like, well, at first though, it's, "Who are you calling?" Like, you're not calling the cops, and then immediately turned into gunshots. What?
True justice.
Yeah, and then she just fucking blows them both away. And
she gets shot in the boobies.
And she's a pretty good shot, too. 2 in the chest twice.
Well, then the next scene is she reconnects with Paul Walker, and he's like, "You fucking did what?" Like, this guy is literally gonna losing his shit at every second of the day as it dwindles down because he can't find this gun. And now his wife is like, "So I shot some people."
Well, that also ties into what we find out later, that he is a fucking cop. Because now he's like, holy shit, my wife, who I never thought would, knew anything about me.
She's connected,
just fucking killed somebody.
Yeah, with a piece that's hot.
So it's like one of those things that he's like, holy shit, what?
Yeah.
So now it does make sense now that I saw it twice, and tied it all in. And
sorry, let's go.
Before we leave this scene, like, it doesn't this whole what I would assume seems like a short. Doesn't it feel weird just in this movie, in the placement of this movie?
The tonal balance is completely way off.
That was one of my things about why the fuck is this in here. And then when you said it was all based on Grimm fairy tales, I found out in the credits only. That's the only time I found out, because I watched the credits to the end, is when I saw that there was still the Grimm fairy tales in a way.
Oh, really? I thought you had read it before you even watched the movie.
No, that part was all about the Grimm fairy tales.
Sorry if I ruined that for you.
See, but even that, it's just like I think this whole scene with her, I think it's fucking cool.
It shows us her mother instinct, though, like their motherly instinct that.
Yeah, because even when she's like leaving the kids, as you hear the ambulance coming, she's like hugging them and kissing them, and like she's a good actress. because you get you can feel the empathy for how she feels about the situation. Like, as much as I don't like her character, the actress herself portrayed it in a way where, like, I believe that she was under extreme emotional distress being a mother and seeing what these people have done to children. And I really like that about her character. I think this scene kind of redeems all the other stupid bullshit of her character.
But back to the tonal balance, it's crazy because this movie goes from like thriller, and then that one moment it's a horror movie, and then it goes back to thriller again. Like it's weird.
And you notice the horror movie segment doesn't have any weird acid cuts or weird filters. No. There's none of that shit in it. It is a circusy, it-like vibe.
The only part that was kind of weird was the images.
Yeah,
with the opposite side of the glass.
Yeah, the shadows.
Opposite side of the glass. But that kind of tied it all into how it looks. You know,
Jen's reaction made me laugh out loud because, like, literally when she sees it, she goes, "What the fuck?" Like, what the fuck?
It was literally like a Nosferatu style silhouette.
Yes,
and it's weird because even she watched half the movie with me, and she saw that, and she's like, "What?"
So if I thought you were watching a Paul Walker movie.
They just never touch on it. Like it's
yeah.
But God damn it, I'm liking this movie even more now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Once you see that pill bottle, that's where I caught it. I was like, holy shit.
You got to take the deep dive, man. I'm watching every movie like this, and unfortunately, it's hurting some movies I love, and some movies that, you know, like, even this one, there's issues that I do have with it in some cases. Okay, so...
But eventually it does have redeeming qualities at some point.
Yeah, it is, you know...
Like when we do this kind of shit.
It's one of those movies that...
Not all of them.
Because the whole movie is so tense, the ending, basically being a happy ending... makes it feel a little cheesy.
Yeah.
Because if you've never had an anxiety attack, that's what this movie feels like when you're watching it.
Yeah. Except real anxiety attacks aren't about, like, if you're gonna die tonight if you don't find a weapon. It's more like you can't find your wallet or keys. And then that's me at like 6 a.m. when I gotta get Jen to work. And
or your wedding ring.
Yeah, my wedding ring, which I don't know where it is. I lost it today. I've been losing weight, and I need a smaller size, and I could, like, if you were to, like, she asked me, well, where was the last, I had it on at Sam's Club, and that's literally, like, I time warped, and I got no fucking, like,
when I waved hi at the mailman, it might have fallen off.
You know, too loose of a grip, it flew off. I have no idea.
You're gonna start walking around like this.
and then at one point she bought me like silicone things and they just totally didn't work, like to wrap around it, and it just didn't work. And what really pisses me off is I just replaced this ring in January. Just in January I had to buy a new one because it fucking flew off my hand while getting ice to be disappeared into my fucking air, and it just never found again. Back to the movie. So we get to the point where they're all kind of together a little bit. She's got Oleg, she's got Nikki. The gun, at this point, he's searching for it. So he goes to several places, one of which being a Projects poker game. And you get the like, you know, get the fuck away from my car scene, just like Training Day.
Yeah.
So he goes in, he's looking for this guy named Manny. You know, this other guy won the piece off of Manny. He traded, you know, in a game. And he goes to his auto body shop. And I know Alex has a little bit of a issue with that.
My only problem is this is a whole fucking, Mexican ethnicity. And they show up to the guy's fucking garage, and he's got a big Puerto Rican flag. And my problem is, he's not speaking as he, you know, like Puerto Rican slang or anything. It's all Mexican
Fake
slang.
News.
That actor is a well-known Mexican actor as well. He's not representing the Boricuan, man.
The director's choice and the people who decorated the background, wrong fucking flag, man.
So I will say that scene is actually pretty fucking cool, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they chose the wrong flag because he wasn't Puerto Rican. He was Mexican.
Lewis, go ahead and describe the shenanigans Paul Walker gets himself into with Manny.
Yeah, so basically Manny traded the gun off, I believe, to the pimp, or
the pimp buys it off him right before
sells
Paul
it,
Walker
yes.
gets there, yeah. for like
Yeah,
$500, I think.
So Paul Walker's
He was offered a couple times.
Paul Walker's character goes to question Manny for the piece, and basically, they're in a garage. It's obviously nighttime. There are some like overhanging lights, and Manny catches wind and knows that Paul Walker is after the gun.
Well, he knows this because Paul Walker's second thing is, "Are you Manny?" The second thing he says is, "Give me a fucking..." Like he goes from "Are you Manny?" to screaming and pointing a gun at the guy. So yeah, I mean, maybe he would, maybe Manny should have freaked out a little bit. I don't know.
And then there's
Paul Walker
a
should
cool scene where Manny steps back and essentially like hits the light switch. All the lights go off.
Lights out.
And then you just see a fucking blowtorch, or what I was assuming was a blowtorch.
That was pretty fast how he lit it, though.
Well, yeah, they don't even really show him light it. Like, I didn't see any starter, but yeah, it's a torch, cellophane, not cellophane.
Yeah. Propane. It's
it's acetylene.
Acetylene torch. Yes, there you go.
But he starts attacking Paul Walker's character with this torch, and it's a crazy camera shot because you essentially see the light bouncing off of Paul Walker's character's face as he's throwing himself to try to get away.
Yeah, it's the only light in the shot is his fucking blowtorch as it's winging past him.
And again, this movie has some crazy like stylistic shots.
See, that's the thing is, it's like the same shit, like the same stylistic. Strike that, reverse it. The same stylistic shots that you can rip on are also kind of what give this movie its flavor.
Exactly.
Which is a weird dichotomy, because at one point I want to be like, enough with the filters, and then the next scene I'm like, that was a cool filter shot. Like, it makes me feel schizophrenic watching this fucking movie.
Sorry, that was funny.
Sorry, let's go on. I really kind of interrupted you on that one.
Well, no, see, so I'm just thinking of how cool this movie was filmed, and I was looking at the other stuff the director has done.
The Cooler
with William H. Macy. And
yes, I really like that movie. I really like that movie. I don't know. Is there a Baldwin in it?
I thought Alec Baldwin. They better not be Daniel, because I'm going to talk shit about him. Oh, I RoboCopped it again.
It's got Alec Baldwin.
Okay, it's the Harrier Baldwin.
Oh, okay.
No, but yeah, it's hard not to compare this film to Crank and End of Watch with the like rushed, frantic.
Oh hell, Street Kings too.
Yeah.
Narc has that same sort of, but Narc is a much darker drama thriller.
I would argue Training Day is an awesome film, but I would argue it's not filmed as like frantic as this movie.
Have you ever seen Smokin' Aces?
No, I have not.
See, the cinematography does kind of remind me of Smokin' Aces, because Smokin' Aces had the like. If you haven't seen that movie, it's like an all-star. It's a pretty great movie. I would. It's on Hulu, I think. I would definitely recommend it. But both of these movies have like a frantic, like artistically styled shots. I mean, Smokin' Aces has Jeremy Renner in it, and like every scene the guy's in is like an acid trip. Like there's several scenes where it's focused on him, and it's the stylistic filter shots. So I always do kind of like, and they both came out around the same time. So I always kind of like equate the two to this in my head for some reason. Smokin' Aces we should review at some point, but not the sequel.
I mean, I'll let one of you guys take over after this, but I think the scene with Manny and the fire is one of the coolest shot scenes in this movie.
If it didn't have Walker screeching,
yeah,
like he's literally at one point it's like ah.
It also plays into like you can make fun of him in the beginning of the movie, but this dude like is. He's making terrible decisions, but also trying to be a badass, and he does a good job of doing it.
I mean, in the movie, like the action scenes he has, and we're going to get into the piece de la resistance here in a moment. He's ballsy, and he's like the beginning shootout. He's right in it. The fact that he's like got no problem going into the projects and telling him get the fuck away from my car. Like these 12 years undercover have hardened him.
I've been
He's-
trying to describe his character without using the term he's running scared because it seems like it's really easy to say that.
He's briskly walking afraid.
briskly walking afraid.
I think that's the best way to describe him. Alex, I know you had something to you wanted to throw in there. Sorry.
No, so there's a couple of things. So like when he's oh shit, where the fuck was I at? You just did that to me again.
Apologies.
Yes, we're doing that again.
Dude, I gotta get the Jeopardy sounds on here for one of us when we brain fart.
And mostly for me.
Trebek will come after you. And
So
your
so
family.
the part where he finally does come across with Oleg, he finally. You know what? Let me backtrack to all this fucking thing.
Explain the
fucking
pimp.
son. His son from the fucking beginning runs into Oleg, and tells fucking Oleg to give him the gun and hide it in the fucking toilet.
Beat the fuck out of my kid. He did this.
His son already saw that his dad is fucking going crazy about this thing.
Like, you could tell he's under serious duress, and you're worried about protecting Oleg. Fuck Oleg.
Yes, and Oleg's not even family. He is his friend. Yes,
He's a Ruski.
But he already sees that his dad is not going to hurt a fucking kid. Like it's very transparent that his dad is not going to hurt a kid, even though he calls him a fucking Ruski or whatever.
Well, see, that's the thing is they portray him as such a piece of shit, and that's why I argue that he's not. Like, the kid thinks he's a murderer for no reason.
But when it comes to the kid, he does say that he's not going to hurt the fucking kid, but he just says, "I need to fucking find him."
Well, the problem is that they purposely write it in because, like, he tells him he's not going to hurt, but then he hears him in the basement.
Yeah, when he says those, yeah,
he hears that line of like, "If I fucking have to," and immediately assumes that means if I have to kill him.
yeah.
Yeah, the conversation Paul Walker's having with who, by the way? Who
I
the fuck was he
believe
talking to?
Who was the chickless? Sal Gummy Bear? Was it Sal Gummy Bear? Because that is his closest friend in the movie.
Yeah.
It's either him or he's talking to the FBI.
Oh, well, yeah, no, but he wouldn't say I have to if I fucking have to.
But
I don't know.
But see, here's the thing: they never give you a definite of when he starts contacting them, because the whole thing at the end is they've been tracking him, so they never give you a for sure when he's made contact again. Because if he's deep cover, the idea being
he's been deep cover for 12 years.
He's had to have made contact again at some point for them to track him at the end, and for him to have that wire. He hasn't been wearing a fucking wire like that for 12 years. Mm-hmm. So like, they don't show when he makes contact again with the FBI. There's some shit in here that they should have filled gaps in. Like the stuff exactly what you're talking about, that if they had, it'd have been much more cohesive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all under the idea of like, oh, is this guy a piece of shit? Like, that's why that whole theme I didn't like going on throughout the movie, because it's like you're only keeping that like he's a piece of shit up so you can justify, no, he's not, he's FBI. Like at the end, you know?
But to go back a little bit too, before the son fucks his dad over. He doesn't get the fucking gun back when he finally realized that Oleg was there. But before that, Oleg runs into their hiding place to read fucking comics.
Yeah, that was another weird scene.
There's a crackhead there who is kind of like I guess it just ties into the Grimm fairy tale where he's like the witchy person.
Basically,
which I didn't see that at the beginning.
It's like a goblin.
He's like, so he reminded me of Candyman.
And every time the way he talked, over here, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so is he the cat from Wonderland?
Dude, this movie is it's blowing my
mind.
mind.
The Cheshire Cat, you mean?
Yeah, is he the Cheshire
Holy
Cat?
Shit.
The way he talks, the way he led the kid into the next area.
Interesting.
I didn't even think about that until just now.
They didn't have that little thing build up in the credits. The only credits they showed was the Hansel and Gretel and the fucking Mad Hatter. So I'd have to watch it again.
Huh? I never even thought of it.
Interesting.
Fucking Reddit threads of this movie. I'm gonna watch the movie again tomorrow.
I've seen it so many times. I've never thought maybe that guy could have been the Cheshire Cat. Fuck me.
But
God damn it! I'm gonna read.
We're ruining movies for ourselves. We can't just enjoy them anymore. Fuck. Sorry, Alex.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So there's that, and then he finally like breaks away from the whole thing about what happened there, and loses the gun completely. Oleg does.
Yeah.
So he goes on and he finds some fucking guy that's beating up his fucking hooker. You know, he's a pimp.
No, hold on though, because he does have the gun. Because there's a shootout in the public.
Oh yeah,
restroom,
he does.
He picks
he does.
it back up, so he has it at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, he loses it, and then they all kill each other. Then he gets it right back because
and then
he
he
picks
gets
it up.
it back. Yeah, so the Paul Walker comes in and can't find it, and then.
And there's a poor homeless person searching the dead bodies, and Paul Walker literally runs in screaming at him. Like, he literally enters the bathroom screaming at this guy. He thinks he's a cop, and he's not a cop. But of course, Paul Walker's got a 45 put to his fucking head, because that's the only two emotions he has: is gunpoint and screaming in this movie. Sorry.
Yeah, and then his kid comes in. He's like, "I told you to stay outside."
Yeah, it's like,
God.
You know what? If you would have
there's so much shit that happened in between this whole transition.
If you would have hit this kid and told your wife to not undermine you from the get-go, he would have told you where Oleg was immediately. God damn it!
Which brings us back to this is an anthology, I think.
I know, right? Like when you really examine it, it is.
This is another story of what happened.
The group therapy this family will need by the end of this fucking movie, dude.
Okay, so you have to explain the pimp.
All right, so the pimp comes out and
Lester
the pimp, I believe he's called, right?
Yeah.
Lester the pimp. So he comes out and he's beating his girl, and she turns out to be Idalis from fucking MTV. Not many people are gonna get that, but
for the late 80s, early 90s era.
For those of you that are 40 years older, 40 or you're older.
For when you remember when the Moon Man meant music.
So she is the hooker that he's beating up, and he like gets pissed off and slams her into his own car, breaks his fucking headlight or tail light, whatever it is. And then the kid sees this going on. Oleg, which is Anthony's favorite actor of the year, he sees this going on, and he pulls his fucking gun on him, and he points it at Lester the pimp. So Lester the pimp starts giving his whole little spiel, blah blah blah. You know what I mean. Fucking Oleg pulls the trigger, but he forgets that he's already shot at his dad like how many 3 times? 2 or 3 times?
I think he got 2 shots off, and then the gunfight in the bathroom extinguished the rest of the ammo.
Extinguished the rest of them, yeah. So all that shit happens, and all you hear is click, click, click. So I guess he got slapped, right?
So here's the thing. So there's and I just thought of this. Is he named Lester like Lester the Molester?
No.
Or I mean, I don't know. Like
he was Lester the pimp.
So basically, he comes across the hooker getting her ass whooped because she was taking like night school one night a week, 2 hours a week. So he basically tells her, I paid for you these fake tits. I'm gonna cut them out of you. You can go to night school all you want. And with the headlight, he basically smashes her head into it, and then pushes her head into the broken glass.
That's right, yeah.
And so the kid points the gun at him, pulls the trigger. He talks about how he's gonna fucking give him a smile from ear to ear, and then she hits him with a bottle or her purse or something. I don't know. She hits him with something and knocks him out cold.
Something metal from around there.
So then Oleg, this is where Oleg, this is actually way before the whole like pedophile scene and all that.
Right.
This is way kind of Oleg's first, like he's out in the real world type thing. And so there's also the scene where he needs an inhaler. And she's like,
he is apathetic, yes, or
she's
some
like,
shit.
Here, keep the change, and gives him 100. And the pharmacist is just like, I can't do that. And she's like, what if I took care of you? And he's like, ma'am, I can't do that. And then eventually
with her scar on her lip.
Yeah, and it's the fresh dried blood. And eventually she pulls out the piece and is like, give him the fucking inhaler. And the pharmacist, begrudgingly, because, pharmacists are so noble that they're going to take a bullet for some fucking albuterol. He
something
begrudgingly...
or something.
Yeah, and then Oleg tells him, and he's like, yeah, I know. It's like, we get it. You don't want to help the kid, but fuck off. Just give him the fucking medicine. Like, come on.
Yeah. Gazebos.
Yes.
Gazebos.
So she traveled. They end up separating, going their own ways, and we've talked about.
She said she's not taking across state lines.
Yeah, she's not dealing with this shit. So because she's getting the fuck out of Dodge, she just bitch slapped Lester the molester, and she's out. So it ends up getting to the point where we're getting towards the end now, where Paul Walker's got Oleg. The gun is basically vanished into. Wait, does he have it yet?
No, she gets popped, and so does Oleg. So that's where the beginning comes back into play.
Yeah, because
of the dirty cops.
Yeah,
who starts questioning Oleg.
Yeah, well, so in the beginning,
which he's also a good actor too. The one that plays the dirty cop,
Chaz Palminteri, and whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: we didn't really explain how he comes into play. So the beginning of the movie starts off with a drug deal that 3 masked men interrupt and go to rob, and it ends up in a shootout. You can tell that the one guy is for sure Chaz. Whatever the fuck is like Chaz.
Oh, you can hear him.
Chaz Pepperoni comes in. You know it's him. So
Chaz Pepperoni.
So the shootout happens. Then they realize that the 2 dead guys in ski mask, or the one dead guy in a ski mask, and the one that's been shot in the balls with this snub nose, are both cops. They're all dirty cops, So part of it is, when Paul Walker pulls the round out of the walls, both in Oleg's house and his house, he then has to make the trip to the hospital to swap the slugs out of what's his face's shoulder. Because that's
or whatever his name is, Enzor.
Yeah, and he crosses paths with Chaz Pepperoni again, and Chaz Pepperoni kind of looks at him. And Pepperoni kind of looks at him like, I know you, in his voice. So he basically comes to them and says, I know it was you, $2 million in this locker, otherwise I'll bring your entire fucking operation down. So that brings you up to speed with Chaz. So.
Which also ties into the fact that this is an anthology. See? So you and I are on the same page.
You could literally take this movie and reorder the fucking thing, and it would be the same. It would be the same fucking movie, just in different order. Like, that's the thing, is it's like, I'm gonna take. It's like he literally was like, well, I filmed all these sections. How should I order them? And he's just like, let's throw the pedophiles in the center. Like, whatever this actor, the director was thinking when he put some of this shit together. But, so it comes full circle. So basically, they're at the point where we come up to the point where the dude from Walking Dead meets his end. Tommy brings Paul Walker. He's got Oleg with him. They're in a junkyard, and he's talking about loyalty. He's got the gun pointed to Walker's head. And then out of nowhere, he turns it, and boom. Come to find out, dude got busted. He was, and the reason he got busted because he was running side rackets, and then he became an informant. So not only was he greedy, running side hustle, not giving the mob its cut, but now he's an informant. So they slaughter him.
Now he's a snitch.
Do you think that plays into what Alex said earlier? Do you think that him and Paul Walker kind of sort of knew what was going on?
See, I don't. I thought of that when I was watching it because of some of the looks that he gives Paul Walker, but they couldn't. It couldn't have been, because you're dealing with an undercover case for 12 years against a guy who was just popped and is now going to turn witness. So they couldn't possibly have known each other or what they were doing at all, because the timing doesn't work out.
But there's also times where you
gives him that look, like, like the kind of like weird half smile he does.
Yeah, but there's also times where people get busted, but they still have to play the role. So they tell him, just keep fucking. So maybe he did know Paul Walker was a cop. You never know. I mean, you don't know.
We had a sense that he was.
It's just it feels like he does. It's just logically, it's hard to believe that the FBI would immediately be like, by the way, he's an informant. You know what I mean? Like, how would he know so fast that Walker was? Because he's not the same level as Walker. Walker's an undercover agent. He's an informant. But who knows? I mean, like I said, the way he plays the character, you do get kind of like that. Does this motherfucker know? Like that kind of like suspicion. So it brings us to the end, close to the end of the movie, where they meet, and probably, in my opinion, the coolest scene in the movie, where they meet at the hockey arena. The boys,
fucking fantastic.
Both Oleg and Nikki are both huge fans of the local hockey team. So they meet at the hockey arena, which just so happens to be basically run and controlled by the Russian mob, or the Russian element. So it starts off normal as they go in there, and then he goes, you want to see something cool? And he presses a button, and it's the black lights come on. You got to do this type of thing to fill the seats. So basically you have the congregation of the Russian mob meeting the Italian mob on a deal that they're trying to strike. And what the Russians are concerned with is that Paul Walker gave the gun to Oleg to kill Enzer, or whatever the fuck his name is, the Duke, to kill him. So, oh god, fuck. There's so many layers in this fucking. This movie's not good enough to have this many layers.
There's something I want to talk about when we get to the heist thing. So let's keep going.
So Enzor is, and they even give this character layers because from the beginning he's an abusive piece of shit he's a meth head and he's kind of a psycho, and then you find out that the story is that he works for his uncle who's Russian mob back in Russia. He's sent to kill this woman who signed an agreement to be basically an indentured sex slave. And have to pay up to $50,000 back, and then she could be free. She gets pregnant. They send him to kill her. He can't do it. He offers to pay her balance. They say no, she's got to die either way, so he marries her to keep her alive, to make sure she survives. They go to the United States. So it's not his baby. He's disowned from the family, so he's no longer in the mob. So the idea is he's just a very pissed off.
And that's Oleg.
And no, that's Enzor.
No. The baby is Oleg.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not his. Oleg's not his son. It's his stepson, technically.
Yeah.
So he did a very noble thing, but due to circumstances and meth addiction,
he was still a piece of shit.
He's a vicious piece of shit because of what he once was. But he's got an infatuation of John Wayne, and there's the whole story about when he was a kid in his village, he had the 8-minute version of the John Wayne and the Indians, and in his version, John Wayne didn't die. So, as he's telling this story, he's watching John Wayne die, and he's like, get up. So, the end of the movie comes, and there's a little bit of line of dialogue between the Russian mother of Oleg and the wifey, where she's basically like, he's not killer. He's John Wayne. He's the Duke. So the end of the movie, that part comes where basically Paul Walker, and I'm going to let you talk about what they do, what the beginning of that ice capade scene, and then we'll go into kind of how Enzor wraps into it.
Oh, is it going to me or Lewis?
Yeah, because you said you wanted to talk about the ice.
No, there was a little part when he gets brought out there, and then the Russians are saying that he's the snitch or whatever, and they want to figure out if he's the reason why they're trying to stop this coalition happening between the where are they from anyway? But the mob and the Russians
is where it's supposed
Jersey?
to be. Yeah.
So yeah, the Jersey mob and the Russians, and they're trying to prove that he's the reason why they're trying to kill Enzor to cause some kind of rift in the Russians.
Yeah, to kill the deal.
Yeah, so shit starts happening, and they start bringing him out to the center ice, and they said, no, this is going to be something that you're going to watch. So they put fucking Paul Walker down there, and these guys are playing hockey, and they're fucking slapping pucks at his fucking face. Bam!
And the way it's filmed,
and it's all with blacklight, by the way.
And it's so unrelenting. Because it's like there's no cutaway scene. It's hit the puck directly, and then you see blood gush out of the fuck where it hits. Yeah. It's just such a brutal fucking scene.
It's just knocking the shit out of him in fucking blood.
One of the more creative torture scenes in a movie that you've done in a while. I mean,
I love that whole thing about the movie. That was pretty fucking awesome how they changed, like everything about that thing.
The style of that whole shot was just great. Yeah.
So as things start to progress, the kid gets brought out there.
He takes a few bucks to the face, not just one. He takes a few bucks to the face. It's great.
So they bring the kid out there, and they say, you know what, we're gonna fucking kill the kid now. And Anzar, which is the stepfather, he's gonna fucking kill the kid.
Yeah, the uncle orders him to kill the kid. Yeah.
If you don't want to tell the truth, so he gets out there and he's ready to do it, and he doesn't want to fucking kill the kid, and Paul Walker starts fessing up, saying, I'll tell you whatever you want. I'll tell you whatever you want.
What I was gonna say is before that, Paul Walker's like, don't do it. You're not gonna be. You might as well eat that fucking barrel after you do it, because you're not gonna be able to live.
Don't kill the kid. Yeah, he's telling Enzar, don't kill the kid. But finally, when he thinks it's gonna happen, he says, no. I'll tell you whatever you want. So shit starts to
Enzor. So Enzor, this is so. Enzor is ordered to kill him. He doesn't. Pulls his jacket down.
He tells him call John Wayne.
Yeah. I'm the Duke, and he's the good guy, so he's gonna walk away. And then
call John Wayne again.
So when he's trying to kill the kid, he's basically kind of like because earlier in the movie, Oleg calls John Wayne a faggot to kind of like hurt Enzor because it's Enzor's hero. So as he's trying to pump himself up to kill the kid, he's like, "Call the Duke a faggot." Like he's just, and the kid's like, "No, no," and he can't come to it. But the thing about it is the cheesiest scene in the fucking movie is this part where he walks away, and then his uncle with fucking
he takes off the shirt.
Yeah, he takes off the jacket. He's got
John
the big
Wayne
tattoo of John Wayne, and then as he walks away with his fingers in his belt loops, his uncle with sniper accuracy shoots out the eyes and then the cigar of the tattoo on his back.
3 shots.
Which is the worst scene in the entire fucking movie, but it then is followed by one of the most gut-wrenching scenes where it's Enzor's face on the ice and blood starts to trickle out and he's going, "Get up." Just like he was doing to John Wayne earlier in the movie when he was
telling
watching
him to get up.
Get up. He's like he's the hero. And then finally he ends up dying. But I don't know. I think that guy's a really underrated actor. And I thought even though he's such a piece of garbage in this movie, he does give a certain amount of humanity to the cast.
So when the whole fucking bullet started flying on after that, did anybody else find it funny that fucking Paul Walker can fucking shoot with fucking dead accuracy while rolling on fucking ice?
The only movie that has ever done the rolling shooting to where I will accept it is Lethal Weapon.
And you know, we were talking about something earlier before the show about somebody rolling on the floor back in school. So when you started saying that, I wanted to say something about the whole thing about Paul Walker rolling on ice.
I'm not gonna be walking down the street and get stabbed in the fucking back just in case fucking somebody might be listening. No. That story.
No, I'm not saying say names, but we were talking about something earlier about somebody rolling on the floor.
From my recollection,
and I wanted to say something so fucking bad when you said that about Paul Walker rolling and shooting with accuracy.
From my recollection, from my other recollection, he would have been a great rolling shooting. He had the roll down pat. Came with some weird noises, but he had the roll down pat. That's for sure.
So I will say, if I could jump in, so with Oleg, because I give that kid shit, but if you kind of like break down his character with his stepdad, quote unquote, being obsessed with John Wayne, it kind of makes sense in like the actions he does, where he kind of stands up to the pimp and wants to shoot him. He also, there's another scene after, and he kind of like I don't know, you can tell he hated Enzor, but at the same time he kind of paid attention to the films, because there are moments where he does this thing where he's like, "No, I'm gonna stand my ground," and this kid does it a bunch of times in this
he's a
fucking
ballsy
movie.
little motherfucker.
He progresses as the story goes. He gets to get braver and braver, though.
And even with the pimp after the ice ring, he's still like, "No, I'm not gonna move."
Yeah, so because I find that scene
he's also
stupid,
quick.
So we'll go back to it.
He's also quick, though. He picks up on what you're feeding him.
Yeah, he's a smart kid. Yeah, for
so
sure.
So when fucking Joe's fucking son told him the lie about how he got the gun, he remembered it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, so the ice ring, they're torturing him, and then as Alex kind of alluded to, Paul Walker comes out and he fabricates the lie that Tommy did give him the snub nose, told him to give it to the kid to shoot Enzor, basically starting a rift to now where the Russian mob leader is kind of like, what? And so this violent fucking battle ensues to where
without the kid.
Tommy's the first one. He gets blown away with a shotgun. the Italian mob boss freaks out because that's his son. He starts shooting. His guys start shooting. They all start to blow each other away. The two mob bosses are on a fist fight on the side of the ice where the players chill. Meanwhile, Paul Walker is barrel rolling and firing at hockey players coming at him with extreme accuracy. So the mob boss battle ends basically where one of them gets a hold of a shotgun and you hear a boom, and the Russian guy kind of gets up and he slowly turns around and his entire rib cage and sternum's done. He dies. And then so now you got the Italian mobster coming after Paul Walker, who's being held down by, I assume, a Canadian or Russian hockey player. I don't even know. Most of them are. And so he's, he for fucking some reason, I think he shoots the hockey player because it was a Russian mob employee, so he doesn't give a fuck.
Yes.
Is my assumption.
Yes.
They don't, he just kind of blows him away, and he's running his mouth, going to kill Paul Walker, and Oleg comes up, he's got that gun pointed at him, and I do kind of like the line where he's like, where he's like, I had a little boy once, his name was Tommy. He was your age once, and he's over there, and he like points at his dead carcass, and I found that like kind of like, oh Jesus, so
that's where Paul Walker finally reveals.
Yeah, they have the whole conversation of, and that's also a pretty important piece because he also in that conversation says, "I was all but out, and then you had to get in bed with Ugorski." So basically, Walker was at this point the reason, and I think you can make the argument that the reason all those weapons are bagged up and stored where they are, the way they are, is this is supposed to be the end of his investigation. He's now in overtime because what happened was he caught wind that they were going to get in bed with the Russians, and the FBI said no, keep going.
Yeah.
So that's where in my mind you can kind of put aside the whole issue of like a little bit of him storing the weapons. Because that's why they're all fresh.
That was a lot of fucking guns.
Yeah, I know. You would think there'd be like put it in the library drop slot overnight, and an FBI agent will fucking come get it or something. Like
after a week, he should have fucking got rid of some of them.
Yeah. Well, 12 years. I mean, how many? Like,
unless they're fucking very active. I don't know.
Well, that's the other thing is how long? Like, is that just that month's collections? Like, how long have those guns been in there? But you presumably, yeah, he's got like literally from Mortuary Collection, the wall opens up and just swallows his fucking weapon.
It just keeps going.
the upside down. So basically, the whole shootout happens. He reveals that he's a cop and he's wearing a wire and. He ends up taking out the mob boss, which is a pretty cool shot, shotgun head to the face.
Yeah.
Him and Oleg, for some reason he refuses to go to, like, even the FBI agent's like, you're hurt, you need to go to the hospital. And he's like, I'm good. I'll bleed all over my car, we're good. So then he's like, let's go get cleaned up and have breakfast. Okay.
Let's go have some waffles.
I just took 3 pucks to the forehead and bridge of my nose. I had hockey players beat the shit out of me. I had mob bosses beat the shit out of me. The last thing I'm thinking of is pancakes. It's probably bed is what I'm thinking of after that night.
At that point, he does make it very obvious that he is a good guy.
Well,
and he tells Oleg, "You need to eat."
Well,
he's more concerned about Oleg.
Yeah. He shows that fatherly, like the real Joey that's there, like who that guy is.
And there is a part where he talks to his wife about the real Joey. So you just said it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that comes in real soon.
But he did have a conversation with her.
So my least favorite, one of my least favorite scenes in the movie is this scene. They're done. Just go home. You got your pancakes. Go fucking eat your wife out on the dryer. Be fucking happy, right?
While the dad watches from the living room.
Yeah.
The vegetable dad.
Yeah, so
we never even talked about him.
Fuck. So there's the... Lewis, I've been running... You want to talk about what the dad and why he is the way he is?
Yeah, well, that's because there's actually 2 kind of pivotal scenes going back. There's a scene where Paul Walker is driving Oleg. I forgot where he's driving him around to look for the piece.
Yeah, this is when they were like
before Sal.
Before shit really hit the fan, when it was kind of like panicky, but we got to go find it more then.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the car, and he kind of has the funny scene with Oleg where he asks him what music he listens to, and then he just fucking makes fun of him about it.
Well, he goes on like the whole like, and
you feel techno.
I feel like the director of this movie like watched Spike Lee movies. Like he watched Edward Norton in the 25th Hour. Because Edward Norton has a diatribe in that movie that's similar to this, where he's like, "You're an American. You were born here. You're an American. Yeah. Listen to some shitty hip hop or whatever." He put on Barry White.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's the only reason I can say that scene's in the movie is to show like he's starting to bond with Oleg. Other than that, it's a fairly useless scene. But sorry, go on.
No, but then he kind of takes a more serious note, and he tells Oleg, he's like, I used to know someone just like you, who had a piece of shit father, pushed him around, and
who would beat on the mother and him, get drunk, come home and beat on him.
Yeah, and one day took a bat and basically beat up the father until he couldn't move, couldn't talk anymore.
Insert flashback scene that wasn't needed. I think Paul Walker's performance in telling that story, they should have just kept it on his face. He's a good actor, or was a good actor.
Again, that's one of the things I was saying about flashbacks and stuff. I
100% agree with you on that one.
It wasn't needed because as someone watching the movie and watching Oleg, you can tell that he kind of understands, like, oh, this is him.
Well,
and it was also good progression for him. Like,
well, it's also like you and I, kid, are kind of the same. Like, I almost beat my father to death. You almost shot your stepfather to death. Like, it's an important scene that I think is ruined by the flashback. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, he tells him, he's like, take a few licks, like, get a little older.
Yeah, you got 3 or 4 years left on you. Put some meat on your bones, and then you're in the clear. Which is a very, like, it's such a tough guy thing to say to a kid who's being bullied. Like, you got 3 or 4 more years, stick through it, maybe get a little muscle, you got a better chance. Like, it really is kind of like it's hard out here, kid. It's not going to get any easier. This is reality. Like, but it's also you see them bonding, and he sees himself in Oleg a little bit, and he understands that the situation's fucked because the guy's got a goddamn meth operation in the garage. Like, it's a bad it's a bad spot for this kid to be in.
We'll get back to the meth operation.
Yeah. We also have to get back to the Chaz Pepperoni's fate.
See, 2 hours, man. This movie, it's a lot longer than we thought it was going to be. To talk about this
movie. I don't know. Maybe we're just making too much of this movie, but it seems to have a lot of layers in it. I don't think it is us, because if 3 random assholes can pick this movie apart and figure out all these things we've discussed, it's got to be a much more layered movie than we initially thought.
No, I'm not joking. I really want to I want to watch it again to pick up on the cues that I wasn't seeing. And also, if you haven't seen the movie and you get to, the discovery that Paul Walker is a Fed, like it really makes you have to like kind of rethink the whole beginning of the movie, because like
everything that happened before.
I was joking about it, but if you have not seen this movie, you're watching and you're like, Paul Walker's a piece of fucking shit.
Yeah, if you've never seen it, you're like, what a piece of garbage. Like, that first shootout was cool, but this guy's an ass.
I guess the way to say it is he was a piece of shit. He was.
Yeah, I mean,
it still kind of is.
Because you have to have this persona to be a part of this crew. So he was a piece of shit.
I'm still going to argue the fact that there was 2 sides of him, and we're going to go on to what you were talking about.
But even his wife didn't know for 12 years, though.
But here's the thing: we're going to go on to what you were talking about, because what ends up happening is they meet the pimp, and the pimp is basically threatening Oleg, and Paul Walker has a butter knife, and
pretty much,
it looks like a fucking butter knife. It's like a switchblade.
Actually, I will say that scene is pretty cool, and that Lester is confronting Oleg. And Paul Walker, he clearly sees, but he like doesn't pay attention.
He's just paying the bill, like ignoring it.
Yeah.
And then immediately just fucking like catches Lester off guard. Like, he doesn't attack him, but Lester's like, oh shit, like he sees me.
Well, Paul Walker's a pit bull in this movie though, because like he doesn't back down. He literally is like, like calls him a bitch, calls his name a stupid bitch name for a pimp. And so they leave it off to where basically it's one of those like you hear the gunshot, but then it kind of the next thing you see is he's carrying, and it goes back to the beginning of the movie where the movie itself starts at the end where Oleg's covered in blood, Paul Walker's driving erratically trying to get him
carrying
home.
Him out of the diner.
Yeah, so that it goes back to the end.
Diner.
So yeah, he carries him out of the diner, and then you show Pimp Mac Daddy, Mr. Lester. He's on the ground with the fucking switchblade through his throat. He's kaput. Paul Walker took him out. So Paul Walker's driving frantically, and then throughout the drive, as he's starting to get more erratic, Oleg lifts his shirt and realizes that he doesn't have a gunshot wound. Paul Walker's the one who's been shot by this snub nose and is essentially bleeding to death. So this all happens within a matter of 2 minutes. I'm not rushing this fucking scene, by the way.
Yeah.
Literally, we pan over to Olav's mom in meth shed number 1 with the fucking propane all the way, or whatever it is, and then she does the lighter and blows up the entire fucking garage and the house and everything. So literally,
she thinks everything's over.
Yeah. So as Paul Walker is bleeding to death, crashing into every car on the fucking block, trying to get home. Minutes before he crash lands into his own front yard, her fucking garage and house explodes. So yeah, it's a pretty cool scene too, because she's like cuddling with the son after a long day. They're taking a nice nap. You can almost hear the birds fucking singing. And then next thing you know, all the windows are gone. Kaboom.
And then she's doing a fucking roll with fucking her son.
And again, with the like
to safety.
She ends up underneath him. Like, you're not protecting anybody, you fucking idiot. Like, he's on top of you. So,
well, she did roll out of the way. I mean, maybe she didn't land on top of him, but she rolled.
How about you roll into the couch, the thing that actually protect you from something, instead of you
drop to the floor and stay there.
Yeah, like if it were me,
not keep rolling.
If it were me, I go full Schwarzenegger. I flip that goddamn refrigerator on its side and I lift it up and I hold it up and wait for the nails to pierce my fucking hands.
You would hold the whole refrigerator up in your arm?
No. What you do is you flip it on its side, you open the door, and you get behind it down and you hold the door open.
Gotcha.
And the problem is, though, if the bad guys have grenades that shoot nails in every direction, you may get pinned from the exposed hand.
As long as it's above you and not below you, you're okay.
Well, the nails did. It just kind of shot everywhere and somehow hit not very scientific. We'll have to review Eraser at some point, because
we're gonna have to do experimental on that.
That'll be a fun one to review.
Maybe that'll be a live show.
So, that's just what I would do. So basically, Paul Walker is now bleeding to death on his front lawn, and he starts going at her about, like, just remember I was the real Joey, like I was always Joey, and what he's basically saying is, like, I'm the guy you fell in love with.
Right.
This guy wasn't me the whole time, and he's obviously, like, bleeding to death, so he's not like, I'm a cop, I'm FBI, so he's just, like, crying and dying.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I got kind of teary-eyed at that part.
You know what?
Not crying, but I got teary-eyed because
he was convincing.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a good actor, man.
And while all that's going on, is Oleg standing up. Oh, the son. Oh,
yeah, his son is worse than Oleg in this scene. His son walks up and kneels down like, "Oh, you stubbed your toe, Dad?" Like, he's got no emotion in his face. Like,
Nikki, come here, Nikki.
Yeah. Well, that's the worst thing is, like, Paul. And I think the reason why it hits so hard is Paul Walker knows he's fucking dying, so he's just trying to tell everybody he loves them. He's like, "Come here, Nick." He just wants to get him in there so he knows that he loves them, and it's just like. That scene is tough. Like, I got a little bit verklempt myself, because I'm like, and then the other part of it is like, my God damn it, he was a good actor. Like, when you really think, like, I understand he's done Goofy, Fast and the Furious, and all this, but the guy was a good actor.
Skulls.
Oh,
he's done Tammy,
which is my wife's favorite movie, by the way.
Film.
What movie?
Skulls or Tammy and the T-Rex?
Oh,
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah, I thought you were.
I've not seen that.
It's an animated children's movie, right?
Oh
no, it's not. He gets killed and they put his brain inside a T-Rex.
Are you serious?
It's a real movie.
We're gonna have to check it out, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up.
No, but Skulls is one of my wife's favorite films with him in it.
Joshua
Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're going back to that.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker is an awesome actor. I just don't understand worshiping him like a messiah and going on midnight cruises in tuner cars.
Listen, if I want to get some Jesus candles and put them outside my Mazda RX-8, I'm going to do that, okay? That's how I go. Okay, so we got to get through the end of this fucking movie. So,
you got a Mazda RX-8?
Almost had you, bro.
Right, good.
Insert. Doesn't matter if it was by a quarter-inch or a quarter-mile. Fucking terrible actor in that movie.
Vin Diesel.
Fucking awful. About family. I only put my entire family at risk every time I open my fucking mouth, but it's all about family.
Hey, Vin Diesel should be a hashtag. Come on, stop.
I didn't listen to his song. I've already seen his breakdancing videos from the 80s. I don't know if I want to hear his music. To be completely honest, like, there's only so much you can ruin. So, like, you're killing Riddick. You understand that. Any image of Riddick is fucking dead, Vin. Between puffy fucking Fast and the Furious Vin or Witch Hunter Flop, you're killing Riddick for me. Anyways, so... we get to the point where, like, they go to his funeral, they bury him, they fold the flag. She clearly knows he's a cop, or an FBI agent at this point.
It kind of gave the hint when she threw the fucking flag in the front seat.
Well, no, she gives it. Well, yeah, well, she's just kind of like that. Is the other
She
thing?
just-
Like, if
She just tosses it.
yeah, if he were actually dead, you're a callous bitch.
Yeah.
Like you just toss that shit like it's fucking jewel bag in your front seat.
Also, this scene is like you see it coming from a mile away. It would have been better if they did like mid credits, like the scene where you discover that he's still alive.
Exactly.
Or you could just take the scene from Fast and the Furious 8 and splice it in there when he drives off into the sunset with his fucking hand.
Oh
Fucking
man,
garbage. So
we're going to hell. Huh?
it's not his fault that the directors of that movie ruined his fucking unfortunate
Legacy.
final version of the film.
He is another weird Paul Walker fact. There's an interview with him in one of the earlier Fast and Furious movies where someone asks him they phrase the question in the sense of like how do you want to go out?
Oh
And
wow.
he says, I would like to die doing what I love in a car crash. And he says the exact car that he dies in, a Porsche Carrera GT.
Holy shit.
All right, so here's the thing. Oh man, it's not going to be agreeable to a lot of people.
Wow.
If you're worth millions of dollars and you basically foretell how you die, you're not a great father if you get in the car that you foreshadowed you would potentially die in and then you die in it. You're a shit father for putting your own selfishness above your child. Fuck Paul Walker.
Oh, gotta be responsible, man.
Son of a bitch.
Hashtag for
Well,
Paul.
you know what? You know, fuck him for his bad decisions because he would have made more movies that were good. Like
He was a good actor.
You could have potentially gotten Paul Walker at the age of 45 that starts to hit like a Brad Pitt level of acting status, to where he's kind of grizzled, he's older, but he's still in great shape. Like you could have had a Paul Walker post Fast and the Furious movies that wasn't goofy, that wasn't a joke of the movies, and his
could have
decision
been-
ruined it.
He could have been like fucking what's his name, Harrison Ford. You know.
Well, look at
I think
you mean to tell me
I think
Paul
he would have
Walker?
been a bigger star.
Well, look, you mean to tell me Paul Walker, as popular as he was, wouldn't somehow have been in an Avengers movie, or in the Marvel universe, or in the DC universe? Like, you mean to tell me these huge franchise wouldn't have tried to eat him up if he was still alive? Like, that's the thing.
I could possibly see him being like a Batman.
You could have seen him being
In a way.
He could have been
In some
Star
form.
Lord. He could have been Star Lord. Think about it. Chris Pratt is good, but Paul Walker could have absolutely been Star Lord with his like, you know, Aryan fucking white cute boy charm shit. He had same thing Chris Pratt kind of plays on, that cutesy dumb look thing they got. Like, that's the thing, is one decision to get into a car, and whether you trusted the guy or not, you knew the limitations of this vehicle, and you chose to go anyways. It's like,
He was only 40.
and that's the thing, is like, some of these like, he was already a big star. So look at Keanu Reeves. Look at his peaks and valleys. Like, there's nothing to say that Paul Walker wouldn't have come
Keanu
back.
Reeves is fucking one with the universe, dude. No matter what the fuck you do to him, he finds a way to fucking adjust himself. I don't know what the fuck he does.
But what I'm trying to say
I
is
don't know what he
his
does.
resurgence. Like, Paul Walker could have had a Keanu Reeves level resurgence, even if he
Yeah.
would have taken. I mean, they're still fucking making Fast and the Furious movies, so he still would have had
Yeah,
movies
but-
to be in. But
I'm saying, as far as Keanu Reeves compared to anybody else, that guy he's on a whole nother level. That guy does not put his arm around people. He does not fucking like his. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
he's got the Me Too game fucking down pat. Yeah.
He is just so all about living life and being fucking happy.
Well, I mean, you ever see those
After,
videos of him on
also after all the loss he had in his life too. So
Well, now he's dating, or he's engaged to that former fashion designer or whatever she is, and they've had recent photos of, like, it was kind of a cute and endearing photo. He was going to film on the set of The Matrix, and the reason why they were taking photos of him was because he's got a buzz cut again for the movie. So there's literally a photo of him like I Do to My Wife, where she drops him off, and he through the window, kisses her, and says goodbye, have a good day, and with his backpack starts to walk into work. It was like one of those just like, God, how do you fucking not love Keanu Reeves?
But he is just like the most, I don't know, just from everything you've seen about him and what you heard, he is like the most selfless person. He doesn't fucking care about.
He donates a lot. I mean, I think they said, what was it, like 75% of his Matrix earnings
He pretty much gives away fucking everything.
Yeah, went to the SFX crew. He bought, I think he paid for all of the main stuntmen in John Wick. Bought them all one of the same type cars he drove in the movie.
Also, he says, I don't want to do my stunts because I don't want to fuck it up.
Well, and he likes doing. He does a lot of his stunts, but he basically understands
he knows his limitations.
Yeah, exactly. He's not an asshole. But I mean, the guy is trained in. Like, this shows you how fucking nerdy I am. I just watched a behind the scenes documentary on John Wick 1 and 2 about how the first one he had so many. Like 3 months of Brazilian jiu-jitsu training, 3 months of weapons, like, and all that. And then for John Wick 2, he came back. And he did, like, I think it was a 6-month regiment of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before anything was even to be filmed. Like, he legitimately went in and learned it.
Did he say, yeah, I'm back? Did he say that?
I'm back. I mean, I think the most quotable Keanu Reeves movies that's not supposed to be quotable is Speed.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Speed.
Like, Point Break is meant to be quotable. You know, Bill and Ted.
Yeah,
like those, but like Speed, where he's, he's also in some of his early work has a little bit of the Nicolas Cage, like, like he's got a little bit of that in there. If you watch Speed again, but also Speed marks the first movie he actually started doing his own stunts. The guy who directed John Wick 2 and 3 was actually one of the stuntmen on Speed with him. Yeah, they go back quite a while. He actually played Keanu Reeves' stunt double in the Matrix movies. He was the stunt double version of Neo.
That's the guy that talked about him the most, saying that he is very respectable when it comes to stunts.
Yeah, we got to remember that guy went from being just a stuntman on the crew to being a lead stuntman to being the director of him in movies. So they had quite a long, prestigious relationship.
Off topic, before we finish everything, did you not like him in Parenthood?
Was that the one with Steve Martin?
Yes. Do you remember that or no?
I don't remember him being in it, no. Was he the boyfriend of the daughter?
He's the boyfriend, yeah.
Fuck, I don't remember him even being in that, to be honest.
Oh, well, maybe somewhere down the fucking line we got to do that. Just for fun. Just for fun for
a lot of, movies that people don't talk about Keanu Reeves is like Chain Reaction, Johnny fucking Mnemonic.
I wouldn't mind doing that one.
I'd love to review Johnny Mnemonic.
All right.
That was when computer graphics started to become prevalent.
Let's finish this movie off and
Lewis had something to say.
Oh no, I was gonna say I haven't seen Johnny Mnemonic.
It's weird, but it's good. It's a weird fucking movie. It's like it's like you know how Hackers was like that weird dystopian fucking type thing. Johnny Mnemonic's kind of like that too.
That's with Russell Crowe, right?
No, Johnny Mnemonic's the one.
Oh no! Okay, so I'm thinking about Virtuosity. Sorry.
Virtuosity. Good movie.
Virtuosity's got to be reviewed at some point.
So I confused the two.
Yeah, I know your quote where I thought of that one too. Faster.
Thought of that one too.
Faster. So basically, obviously, they come back and they get home and this old random dude is working on his car that he banged up pretty badly. And so they may play it off like that he's dead, and then all of a sudden he comes from underneath the car. He was fixing it. He's alive. And she goes, "Don't ever ask me to bury you again." And it's like, once again, the same concept of when I've got a gun to my head, you don't talk about my fucking language. You found out I've been undercover in the FBI for 12 years. I almost died for everything fucking 3 nights ago. And you're gonna fucking tell me don't ever fuck you, okay? You're lucky you got away with double homicide, bitch. Shut up. Enough.
I would say he deserves a weekend off.
Like, yeah, don't nag the fucking. He's still got a gaping hole in him that's healing. Don't nag the guy.
No, he should have been under the bus for like at least a month.
Yeah, in marriage years, yeah.
Like, you should be blowing him on the washing machine for this month while he heals. How about that one?
And then he has a new child now, Oleg.
Yeah, they just like I don't know if they adopt him or just kind of kidnap him and absorb him into the family or how that worked, but apparently he's their son now.
He was a government agent, so yeah, he it's his kid now.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The whole movie, he's got no government official ties, and all of a sudden, there's like helicopters and fucking FBI everywhere, and all of a sudden, he's a legit. He's not only an undercover cop, but he's a fucking FBI agent. It's like, what?
Now it's your kid. It's your responsibility.
I get being like an undercover like gang crimes unit, but you just skip that step completely, and you find out that not only is he a cop, he's a fucking FBI agent the whole time. It's like. Okay, I guess. Like, I'll buy it. I like the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
we're gonna give you special privilege. It's your kid now.
You have carte blanche, sir. You took hockey pucks to the face. Don't worry about it. It's like
multiple times.
You're a tough bastard. Although
we got all the audio.
Although I do have to admit, if you've been undercover in like sleazy gang territory for 12 years, the FBI should fucking blow you and put you on a government pension for the rest of your life.
You should be able to get something out of that shit, man. Because
how does that work? Does he just go back to like gonna go into the office daily? I'm an FBI agent. Like, how does he go back to fucking real life?
Well, apparently he retired.
Like
he retired, apparently.
Witness protection. Yeah, you ain't gonna get no hockey games in fucking Utah, buddy. Sorry. All right. So
no more razors for you.
Yeah. Well, I do find it pretty great, the foreshadowing in the movie. Like in the beginning when they're like, it's going to be red ice. And he's literally in a pool of his own blood on the fucking ice. Like, there's a lot of... I'll
tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah, there's a lot of little foreshadowings in this movie that I appreciate. Let's give it our review. Lewis, you go first. Then we'll go to Alex, and then I'll go.
All right.
Man, I'll be honest. When I watched this movie, I was gonna sit at like a 3. I would say now, like actually analyzing it and thinking about it, I would go with 4.5 hot dogs.
Ooh, holy shit! You put that bar fucking high.
Man, I'm gonna fucking watch it again now.
That's a high bar.
Considering you didn't see much of what we're... No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not as high as you, but I'm gonna go 4 because
you should smoke some more then.
Maybe not as high as man.
Sorry, I don't have enough THC in me.
That is such a funny way. Like, I don't even know how. Like, you'd have to be drunk and high to explain it that way. Like, sir, you can't prove it. I don't have enough THC in me. like all cocky about it. Sorry.
No, but I'm gonna go with 4 because, like I said, it was very different watching the second time and noticing a lot of the stuff that I didn't notice before. But still, it was still like that whole acting thing, and yeah, but it was still a great fucking movie. So 4 is gonna be my number for the hot dogs.
I'm gonna agree with Lewis on this one. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Probably more for nostalgia's sake, but I will be honest with you. This movie is one of those ones that just like, it's almost like a Russian nesting doll, where it's like every time you peel back a fucking layer, there's
something else pops out.
There's another, and there's a, and I don't know. At this point, I feel like we should probably consider it a fucking anthology movie.
I think it is, but yes, you're right. The way
it's structured. All right,
it is an anthology.
So we've finally gotten through that. We will be right back. We're going to do a short break. If you are listening to the audio version, you're going to hear from Anchor, our sponsor. Thank you, Anchor. If you're on the YouTube, you won't even notice a thing. We'll be right back with you. See you soon.
All right, guys, and we're back. And again, thank you to our sponsor, Anchor. So we are now at the tail end of our show where we like to go through a list, which I think I'm going to name this segment the shit list, because we always find lists that are not the greatest.
Basically, so I mean, these people that write these lists, before they wrote lists, they were writing fan fiction. Like, it's just, they're terribly written.
Yeah. So when they create their own synopses, they're fucking shit.
Yeah, this delightful. Don't tell me a movie's delightful.
At least keep the synopsis of the actual movie.
You just take it from the back of the DVD.
So for this shit list, we went with the theme of Race Against Time, and we found a list. Some of these movies we have not seen. Quite a few we have. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is a 1971 film, The Andromeda Strain. I've not seen this film. I've heard of it.
I watched this movie a long time ago when I was a kid with my dad, but I don't remember a ton of it.
It's got James Olsen in it.
Never saw it, so at least one of us did.
All you James Olsen fans out there.
Yeah.
Is that the father of the Olsen twins or something?
I
I don't think
doubt
so.
it. I would hope not. If so, eesh.
Oh my god! Hold on. Let me see who the fuck James Olsen is now.
It's gonna shatter Lewis's world. I don't think her family were, or his or her father or mother were famous.
I think it's the wrong spelling of Olsen, but okay.
Yeah, not him. Anyways, jumping to the second film.
He's the fourth Olsen sister.
Which is second film, which is an awesome film.
Yes,
Came out
it
in
is.
1981. Escape from New York.
Love it.
Kurt Russell, Snake Plissken. This is I don't know if this is part of the Apocalypse trilogy for the Carpenter films. It might be. But yeah,
There's a Apocalypse trilogy. What?
that's what he deems it. It's basically 3 films that he did, not back to back, but kind of with
They all tied into each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a great fucking film.
Yeah, it really is.
Less than a fucking day to fucking rescue the president's daughter. Yeah.
Well, and then the whole thing is that, like, because then there's Escape from New York 2. Or, no, it's Escape from L.A., which brings
Escape from
on
LA, yeah.
a whole different level of cheesiness.
The fucking surfing fucking, yeah.
Yeah, and then the basketball game,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's how they decide the court system is the literal basketball court.
He had to do layups for how long? Like,
Yeah, Snake Plissken...
pretty much what it is, right? He had
Yes.
to score a certain amount of points.
Yeah, basically. And Snake Plissken running back and forth on a fucking basketball court is not something you want to see. Like, it's just not.
Especially when it's Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he's too cool for that.
Yeah.
Also,
But
his son is an awesome actor.
Oh,
Wyatt Russell, yeah.
what has he been in? I'm new to the game.
Overlord, he's Black Mirror. He's been in a lot
Okay.
of shit.
That's one of Black Mirror's best episodes.
My favorite
Which-
Black Mirror, it's the one where he does the VR game.
Oh,
That's
What?
his son. Yeah, that's Wyatt Russell. It's Kurt Russell's son.
holy shit.
Where he's in the chair the whole time and, like, his phone goes off when his mom calls and it fries him. That's Kurt Russell's kid.
I'm going to have to fucking watch the movie again. Holy shit. Or the TV show.
Yeah, he's in Overlord.
Holy shit.
He's in the movie. He's in 22 Jump Street as well. He's the football player that Channing Tatum befriends.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of shit.
Don't give 2 shits about 22, but okay.
I was wrong. This movie isn't in the Apocalypse trilogy. That's The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness, which are all
Okay.
awesome movies.
That makes sense.
Jumping to our third in this list, Source Code. This came out in 2011. Jake Gyllenhaal. I have not seen this film, although
either.
I kind of want to check it out.
I have not seen it, but just reading what it says here, 8 minutes to avert a fucking nuclear terrorist disaster. So does it keep resetting on him, or
Yeah, it sounds like it's got kind of a
Groundhog Day type thing?
Yeah, I was gonna say Looper vibe, but
All,
no, that's
all I know is this is the movie in The Office when they were going to Gettysburg that Daryl brought. I got source code. That's the only thing I could think of.
Is that when they took the office on the trip, or no? When they moved the.
That was when Andy took them to get to Gettysburg to go march for like 3 miles to, and on the way there, it took like two.
So Andy was the new
Yeah, it took like 2 hours, and he's like, "It's okay, I got source code," and he's like trying to talk to everybody. They're just watching the TV that's on the bus.
And nobody wanted to get off the bus when they were watching. We got to finish it. We got to
Dude, I'd
finish
have
it.
been like, "Fuck that! I'm an office worker. I'm not gonna go take a fucking hike. Like, get out of here. I got dress shoes on, you dick."
we somehow always bring it back to an Office reference. It seems.
It applies to so many things.
Because the office is great.
The next one
Next.
is one of my favorites.
Next one is a good film, 1995, Apollo 13.
No, not this one,
Tom
sorry.
Hanks,
This one's okay.
Kevin Bacon, and the late Bill Pack. Apollo 13's a good movie.
It's a good movie, but I thought the next one was Crank.
I miss Bill Paxton.
I know Bill
Yeah,
Paxton,
he was a
man.
good dude.
Let me tell you something about. I went into the Museum of Science and Industry with my family, and we were watching in the OmniMax. And as soon as the narrator started talking, I was like, "Holy shit, that's Bill Paxton!" And they were talking about storms, tornadoes,
Oh, Twister.
and my wife looked at me, and I had a tear in my eye, and I was like, "What?" She goes, "Are you crying?" And I was like, "He's not alive anymore." I was like, and he's talking about tornadoes. I was like, "I'm sorry, I got a little teary eyed."
Well,
The weirdest fucking thing of my life. I don't love the guy. It's just it was like a weird fucking experience in my life, watching fucking OmniMax and hearing his voice.
My favorite Bill Paxton scene is Terminator 1, where he's like, "Laundry day, huh?" And scene.
I thought you were gonna say from like Weird Science.
Nope, I went Terminator 1. He's one of the punks in the beginning.
I love him in Weird Science too, but by the way, anyway.
Oh, he died of a stroke. That sucks. He was
Yeah,
only 61.
yeah.
It was fucking so unexpected, man. It was just one of those things.
What's worse, though, him dying of a stroke or Swayze melting down to nothing from cancer?
Yeah.
Like, which way would you rather go? I mean, I think one of Bill Paxton's honest-to-God best performances is in the movie, the Broken Lizard horror, the Broken Lizard horror movie.
Yeah, he's the fucking.
He plays the ripoff of
Club Dread?
He played Club Dread. He played Coconut Dave, I think.
Yeah,
which was a Jimmy Buffett ripoff. He's
isn't he like
hilarious.
the main protagonist or something like that?
No,
No,
he's like a drunk, washed-up rock star that owns the island, and he has some of the best fucking lines in that entire movie. Like, he is the star of that. Like, he's great in that fucking movie.
I thought he turned out to be like the main fucking enemy.
No, I'm pretty sure he gets murdered like the rest of them.
Okay.
On Matt's scale, it's like Twister, Coconut Dave.
Don't make me go into the scene in Twister where they're all eating breakfast and they're talking about tornadoes, and then they go this category 4. That'll do it. That'll give you a new roof. And then, well, is there a category 5? And then you hear forks drop, like she just brought up category 5. And then the dude's like, everybody's silent, and he's just like, finger of God, man.
Wait, was that Philip Seymour Hoffman that said that though?
Mm-hmm.
Another guy who's not with us.
Can you? Yeah, I know. Isn't that sad? Two brilliant actors that were in a movie below their grade are now both dead young.
Well,
although Philip Seymour Hoffman took the H
he's
train.
a drug addict, right?
Well, okay, so here's what happened with Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's a former heroin addict, and the problem with heroin addicts is when they relapse, they go back to their original dose. And the problem with that is over time your body builds a tolerance. So if you're shooting heroin for 3 years and you kick the habit and you go back and you go right back to that final dose you would take, odds are you're going to overdose and die.
You're going to die.
Also, I don't know if it was ever confirmed that he got a batch of the fentanyl lace shit either.
So I see what you're saying, and I hear just don't kick the habit. Just if
Keep
you're doing
going.
heroin,
Just keep going.
keep doing it.
I mean, the smartest way is to go from heroin.
Although we don't condone you doing drugs.
No, we do not. We do not.
I don't have you. Whoever's listening to this, you're a free fucking American. I don't have to condone anything.
But we don't condone you doing drugs.
We don't personally do any of these nasty things like
condone
heroin.
it, but don't be a quitter. But don't do drugs.
But we don't condone you doing
kids,
drugs.
You want to make sure you never introduce yourself to Mr. Brownstone.
This is gonna go on for like 25 fucking minutes.
All right.
All right.
Continue.
Speaking about doing drugs, our next movie,
Crank.
Chip. One of the best.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Louis. I'm sorry.
One of the best names,
movie.
Chev Chilios. I like that as a character's name because it's like fake sounding, but it's slightly believable sounding.
Fuck, I would argue without this movie. Oh, damn it! What's the movie with the guy from District 9 who plays multiple? You know what I'm talking about?
Coldplay?
Yeah, it's POV view.
Hardcore
action.
Henry.
Yeah, I would argue without
awesome.
Crank, you wouldn't have Hardcore Henry.
Okay.
I would say, I'd agree with that. I mean, it's yeah.
I still haven't seen Hardcore Henry, but I did like Crank.
If you don't get motion sick, where if you can handle like first person camera, you'll be fine.
Did we not
Yeah, you
hear me
might
when I
not
talked
like it.
about all the other shit before?
The problem then is
Our previous shows.
Hardcore Henry may be a,
I know, it's
a
all-
vomit comment for you. Jen has a hard time watching those movies. She can't watch
Is it handheld or is it like fucking body cam?
It's a mix. Like you could tell they're professional cameras, but they're hand and body. Like they're strapped. Because there's scenes where they're like parkouring up of like the tops of train stations and shit.
See, I could deal with stuff like that, but it's just like the shakiness.
I
Like,
will
one of the
I will
things-
give it credit. The shake. It's not. There's a few scenes where like you're running and it's intentionally shaky. But
Okay.
the minute to minute actions pretty. They got some good compensation for it.
Like one of my things that about the movie we were talking about earlier was Running Scared. Was they had like scenes where I felt like I was watching wrestling, and I don't know if you watch wrestling or not, but they have these things where they zoom in and out, or they move. I fucking hate.
Yeah, it's
that.
like it's kind of like jarring. It's like really.
Yeah.
I hate when people zoom in and out for no reason. Make it a reason why you're doing it, but yeah, no. But I like Crank. Do we want to talk anything about this?
The only little tidbit I want to give, and it's actually in the image that they provide. There's a very small role of Glenn Howerton, aka Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's the nurse that he basically threatens to kill if
right?
who hits him.
Is he the one from the monster movie? What the hell is that called? Is he the one that got famous out of all of them?
No, not Charlie Day. This is Dennis. So this is the Mac is the dark hair, Charlie Day is Charlie, and then Dennis is like the brother to D, the other main guy.
Oh, okay.
Glenn Howerton gets his face blown off in The Strangers. If you've seen that movie, he's the neighbor.
Yeah. Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Fuck! It's been so long since I've seen that movie. I didn't realize he's in it.
No, I've not seen that.
That's when he was trying to be a real actor before he got big with Sonny. He's like, I guess I better try to be an actor.
I'll just try to fucking take a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. And the next thing you know, he writes. Really, I actually just watched an interview with him, basically talking about why he stepped away. That's pretty interesting. I won't go into it, obviously, but it's worth a watch if you want to check it out.
Yeah. So, anything else to say about Crank, guys?
There were some crazy fucking scenes in this fucking movie.
I mean, there's this scene where he feels himself starting to slow down, so he's like just face diving into blow. like he's full bore trying, because the whole thing is if his adrenaline dies down, he dies basically.
Right.
The end scene
or having sex and
yeah, it's the second one where
was that like a reason to put in gratuitous?
Yeah, that's the other thing is the first one he fucks his girlfriend in like the Chinatown, and then the second one he fucks her in the middle of a rodeo to try to stay awake.
I actually like the second one too.
Second one's not bad.
Wait, Crank 2 or the second part where he was fucking his wife?
No, Crank 2, High Voltage.
Oh, okay.
I will say that the ending scenes where they're on the helicopter, that's a real shot.
That's crazy.
That's really them in a helicopter doing their fight scene. No bullshit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, so we can go to the next one if you want. A movie I've never seen.
Yeah, next one is called High Noon. It's from 1952.
Oh, I've not seen this one.
I haven't seen this because I didn't fight in World War II. So
maybe we should call Grandpa Floyd.
If this is a movie you like, good for you.
Yeah, I didn't see this because I'm not the greatest generation.
Well, isn't Gary Cooper supposed to be the Super Trooper?
Once again, that's got to be a World War II reference.
It's actually a hip-hop reference, but okay.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah. If Gary Cooper is still alive, he probably adds "the" in front of certain races.
Hey,
and that's just an assumption.
Here's the thing. If Gary Cooper doesn't do it for you, it's got Grace Kelly in it from so many classics that I won't name.
Yeah. Moving on to our next movie.
Moving on up.
Do you like a movie about a son going into the past and trying to make it with his mom? Well, I've got a movie for you.
That sounds oddly familiar. What was that about?
Called Back to the Future.
Did she just finish her time with Howard the Duck?
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
That whole scene in Howard the Duck is so fucking weird. Like she's in her like little pretty cotton white panties, and here's a duck with a giant fucking beak that's looking at her like, I'm gonna have my way with this young human.
I'm sorry, but I love that fucking movie.
Okay, so somebody needs to explain to me though. Maybe you can, since you're a lover of the movie. In the beginning, when he's going through the apartments, why does the duck have tits? There's a short shot when he's going to the apartments at the beginning where there's a duck character in the bathtub, and it's got fucking fake duck puppet tits.
Sometimes you feel frisky.
I mean, I still
It's a female. It's a female. It's another world. It's another world.
Ducks don't have tits. Ducks don't have tits. Ducks don't have dicks.
They were tumors.
But it's another world.
Don't worry about my lumps. They'll go away.
You okay? So you have a human. They're a humanoid duck, and he's from another dimension or whatever you want to call it, and he was brought here by the what do you call it? The what is he considered now?
I want to say the Tesseract because I'm thinking of Avengers. I don't know.
I don't want to call the guy by what I want to call him by because he actually got himself into some trouble.
The actor?
A pedophile.
The actor, yeah, the pedophile actor.
Who?
The one who plays at first he plays the guy who's helping them and he becomes the protagonist. He's also in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, that from Beetlejuice and everything. Yeah, well, they they found a lot of shit on his laptop.
Yeah, he's actually very, very not nice kind of person.
Which is terrible because he played in the roles he was in. He always played them well.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Jeffrey Jones?
Is that his name?
The principal from Ferris Bueller's?
Oh, no.
No, yeah, the principal from Ferris Bueller was...
So a movie we have to review at some point that he's in as well is Ravenous.
He's a pedophile? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they found child porn on his computers.
Anyways,
note,
let's get back to the Future.
Yeah, so anyways, Back to the Future. It stars Michael J. Can't Stop Shaking His Hands Fox, and basically he was that a little too much? I'm tired.
You ever see the photos where it's like
I love him though.
Try to get a good photo with him, and it's like a selfie, and just his image is blurry.
You guys are assholes.
I didn't make the meme. I just saw it.
I know, but you're still assholes.
If you haven't seen Back to the Future, what
amazing.
Are you doing? Go
One of the
watch
best
it.
movies of all time.
Watch all of them. All of them in a row.
All three of them are great.
All three of them are fucking hilarious. And perfect.
One of the best trilogies ever made.
Aside from RoboCop 3 and 1 and 2.
1, yes. 2, maybe. 3, no.
Yeah, RoboCop 1 is the greatest trilogy I've ever seen. Just RoboCop 1. Number 2 is tolerable.
3 times in a row.
Yeah. I'll make my own fucking trilogy. What I'll do is I'll record it through my software and then flip the image so I think I'm watching a different movie. I work for Dick Jones.
All right, so jumping to the next film, Labyrinth, Jim Henson film, 1986. There's an argument that happens in my household because we own Labyrinth and we own the Dark Crystal.
Okay.
And my wife will listen to this because she listens to the podcast now. Hello.
Hi.
The Dark Crystal is a better movie than Labyrinth.
Ooh. So that means you bought the Dark Crystal RPG game that just came out then?
No, God,
so you're saying Dark Crystal is better than Labyrinth?
Yes, I know they're not comparable, but in the realm of like darker Jim Henson films, I think the Dark Crystal is better than Labyrinth.
I do feel bad every time I watch Labyrinth for the little people that have to be like eyeline with David Bowie's bulge every time they filmed with him.
Oh, they loved it.
Like the poor little people. Like, let's say this is David Bowie's bulge. My microphone. This is them in all their scenes. Hi, Mr. Bowie.
They were fine with it. They wanted Ziggy Stardust. They were okay.
Jen really likes that movie, and last time I watched it, I was like, why does he have such a huge codpiece? Like, this is a children's movie. This is fucking weird.
He was a weird dude. He liked milk and peppers. David Bowie was a weird guy.
Let's dance.
He was also very into the occultish type thing, like they were saying. He believed in a lot of different things. So it was strange as far as a person goes, but
whatever he believed in couldn't keep him kicking in the end. So,
that's what kept him going until the end.
What? It wasn't. I mean, what?
It was because he eventually died of what? What did he die of?
Cancer.
think Cancer, man, if you listen to his last album or read the lyrics, they are dark. They are really dark.
Yeah, so his whole entire belief was something that just kept him going, and he had his
Finish
own
the
little
album.
he had his own little thing that kept him going. There's a big thing about it. We have to have a whole new show to
He's
do
a
this.
celebrity. He probably sacrificed little kids or whatever they do.
That's pretty much what it was aiming towards. But
his son is actually a director. He directed the movie Moon with Sam Rockwell.
That's a good movie. I
I like Sam Rockwell.
It is actually a really trippy movie. Next
movie is the 1983 classic ? War Games.
I'm not a big fan of this movie.
It's a good movie, but it's not a great movie.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cheese. There's a lot of cheese to it, but
this was literally in the era where people thinking you're naming a program Star Wars literally meant you were waging war on space. Like how ignorant we were to what technology. Like, literally look at the screenshot with all those monitors to monitor nothing. Just fucking secure. Like there's no technology there.
Actually, during that monitor, the scene, that's actually all the missiles that are supposed to be coming towards, and they don't know it's not real.
Because it's a war game.
It's a war game.
This doesn't happen. Like, literally, streamers get swatted while they're playing online and almost get shot to death. Like, no kid's going to break into the...
1983, though.
Yeah, and literally the home computer entertainment system was like fucking the you had
their main
Tandy.
big computer was called the Whopper.
Oh,
the Whopper.
What a racist term.
No, not that Whopper. The Whopper, like, you know, the candy
Whopper, like the Burger King
this is the Whopper burger. Yes, the Whopper burger.
No, I like the Danny DeVito from the Taxis. You have to see, Alex. I gotta give you my Voodoo login so you go watch Super Troopers 2.
Do it.
That quote is going above your head because you've never seen it now. I'll get it to you. All right, where are we at? Still
jump into the last film.
The last one, the number one for Lewis.
Just to start it off.
The best film on this fucking list is Speed.
Just to start it off, I have fond memories of this movie because I went to it when they still had drive-in theaters pre-COVID. When they still had drive-in theaters, I saw this and True Lies in a double feature.
Ooh,
at the drive-in.
That was also 26 years ago.
I'm old.
So it was pre-COVID, 26 years ago.
Yeah, well, the flu was still around, wasn't it?
That was back when they were testing out on homeless people. It wasn't quite ready.
That was back when it wasn't rude to literally just sneeze in somebody's open eyeballs, apparently.
They were testing it out on the koi fish.
Yeah.
Oh,
jeez. Poor little koi. Sorry. All right, so Speed. Sorry, Lewis.
Speed's a great movie. I always, growing up in Chicago, riding CTA buses.
When they were green?
Like, it would be cool if someone hijacked this bus while I was on it. But then when you watch it, you're like, no, that's a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, this had... we were talking about Keanu Reeves, another actor or actress that also doesn't age. She's in the same realm as, like, Paul Rudd and Keanu Reeves is... what the hell is her name?
Sandra Bullock.
Not Sandra Bullock. Name. Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, look at her in The Proposal. Like, all you get is that side view of her name. Like, you get Ryan Reynolds, who's a chiseled god, of course. But then you get her. You get her side profile. Like, she's still gorgeous.
I would argue Keanu Reeves and Paul Rudd, though, are drinking from whatever chalice of Jesus' blood.
Yeah, but if you look at Keanu Reeves when he's not filming, he lets his age be seen because he grows out the beard a little bit and shit. However, I did see photos of him with his head shaved again, and he goddamn looks exactly like he did in the first Matrix. It's ridiculous. Like, there's a couple extra, like, he sat around drinking a little wine, eating some cheese pounds on his body. But he's still in good shape. He still looks, for the most part, the same. I do feel that whatever they did, like, in the makeup for the Bill and Ted's 3, from the images and videos I've seen, he looks fucking weird in. But so I'm gonna buy. So I don't know. I'm gonna buy on Vudu. They have all 3 of them. The first 2 plus the third one in 4K. It's $18 on sale this weekend. I'm gonna pick it up.
Oh shit.
So you guys will have the Vudu login. not you guys as in the audience. You all
And
can
the
go fuck
viewers
Yeah,
will have
yeah,
the
explain
voodoo
that.
luck.
Yeah,
You as the viewers will also have
and-
nothing.
Yeah, and my ATM card's PIN code is my social security number.
2, 3, 4.
You guys remember that joke? Your mama's so old that her social security number is 1.
Dude, I've never heard that joke.
Really?
Neither have
Oh
I.
God, that's an old joke. So one thing about
All right.
Speed is Dennis Hopper. He's the best in this movie. Greatest
Yes.
villain
Yes.
in like any '90s action movie.
Hey, well, best supporting actor. Who do you think?
In
It's
Speed,
not. It's not Daniel Baldwin. But who do you think?
in Speed,
Yes.
Jeff Daniels?
Yes.
yeah.
That guy is a very underrated actor. I believe he
He's
does some
great.
really good work in a lot of shit he's done.
I like Jeff Daniels.
I do. I like him.
So one of the movies I wish would have been on this list, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, is Arlington Road. It's with Jeff Bridges and Tim Robbins, and it's a really fucked up movie because the whole concept is Jeff Bridges is like a cop or an agent of some sort of whatever, and he basically has tracked this terrorist, and he thinks Tim Robbins is this foreign terrorist that has infiltrated the country, and so they play this whole cat and mouse game, and the ending is one of the few cliffhanger endings to ever shock me.
Oh, it's got Joan Cusack in it, too.
It's worth a watch.
Oh wow.
It's really good.
Jeff Bridges.
The ending is gonna give you like a what the fuck did that just happen? And I was gonna spoil it for you because I didn't know, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. I won't spoil it for you.
Yeah, I have to add that to my list.
Yeah, it's a definite like, oh damn type of ending.
Oh, damn.
Oh damn.
Oh damn.
So that is all of. I mean, there's a couple that I think. A couple movies on here that could have been removed or just straight up added a couple more. I mean, there's a lot of race against the clock movies. Like Smoking Aces is a race against the clock movies. Like that movie's a race against the clock movie. There's all.
I would argue Looper is technically a race against the
Looper,
clock.
Chain Reaction, with John Cusack. Like, there's a lot of race against the clock movies that should have been on here more than some of them.
More than High Noon.
Well, High Noon.
Well, it's going by decades, I guess. But
Apollo 13 doesn't need to be on here.
I'm sorry to our one old baby boomer listener.
Right. They insulted High Noon. Fuck these guys.
Okay, boomer.
Right. I was digging gold while you were in your daddy's pants bucket. It's like
I was
what?
panning gold, not digging.
No, I dig gold.
Oh, you dig gold.
I dig
Oh
gold.
shit.
I let the water soak into the soil and I dig it up and take the gold out of there.
Do
It seems
do
like
we
more
want
work.
It's way more work than it needs to be. So that so
Oh god.
that was. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, do we want to make a comment of what we're gonna review next week, or in case anybody wants to catch up with us, or
Yeah. So if you guys
are we gonna keep it a surprise?
And I'm gonna get the episodes out earlier in the week than Friday because like when I had a lot, like when I was doing 2 of them, I was trying to edit. It felt like I needed that amount of time, but then like I sat around all week not having anything to edit for the show, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I get this done earlier. It also leaves me time to think of creative ideas. So next week is the 2nd episode of November. Once again, we're not doing any sort of theme this month. Next week's movies are going to be Death Sentence, starring Kevin Bacon, and several other people that you'll recognize. Yeah, well, when we get into that, there's actually a couple actors in that movie that is surprising they're in there. And the second movie we'll be doing is Blood Vessel, which is a brand new Shudder exclusive. I'm only about 45 minutes into the movie, but you get the distinct feeling from the trailer that you're dealing with like Nazi vampires. So,
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
it does look pretty neat. Once again, we love our horror movies, so Mortuary Collection was a Shudder exclusive. This is a Shudder exclusive, so those are the 2 we'll be doing next week, and this should be out Monday or Tuesday. Feel free to watch the movies along with us and join along. If you agree, disagree, whatever the case is, let us know. Leave us a comment. Hit us up on YouTube. Send us a message on Facebook.
Drop as much fucking information as you want on us.
Yeah, you can send a pigeon. You can do smoke signals. Anything you can yell really loud if you're close to my proximity. I will check it out.
If you've got Matt's cell phone number, keep texting him.
You shouldn't have my number, and if you do, you'll no longer have it if you text me that way. But that is for me. That is all for me for the night. And I'll let the boys sign off.
Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Or
everyone.
have a good day. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Have a good
What-
morrow.
Have a great morrow, yes.